Okay, welcome back everybody to Dragon Poet Society. Thank you for joining us after a little bit of a hiatus. We are going to be picking right back up with our Curse of Strahd campaign. Darian and Jennifer are just right around the corner. Hopefully, I think Jennifer took her own turn to Narnia. So we are getting going with that, so we'll just jump right back into where we left off from last time. Alrighty, this just a little bit.
Better than taking a wrong turn
Great.
to Barovia.
Yep. Well, considering where the team has taken a wrong turn into Barovia, more or less, we'll pick up with the recap with what's going on with them. So residing in Vallaki, causing and unearthing trouble, but still managing to escape any major incidents so far. The 5 members of the Peddlers of Death, as they are perhaps called, they're still working on their name, have been getting their hands involved with many of the various parties of note in the city in the town of Vallaki. Jennifer and Mary Lou escaped the twisted experiments in the basement of the apothecary and passed themselves off as innocent observers to the guards. They were later interviewed by the guards and Izek, the captain of the guard. The whole team was, in fact, and the captain of the guard seemed to have an unusual focus on Irina and was having the toy maker Blinsky make dolls of her for him. He also seemed to mention that he wasn't nearly as bad as he seemed, but that people are just afraid of his monstrous and fiery arm. The team also interacted a little bit more with the inn's bard, Rictavio, who revealed himself to be a spy, masquerading as the flamboyant bard and storyteller, who warned the party to be careful and gave them some helpful information regarding the layout of the town, the major players, and their involvements in various activities. Rictavio was going to be leaving Vallaki, but was convinced to stay by Jennifer with the offer of playing a show with him at the Baron's Festival as a further opportunity to get a deeper read on what's going on and the Baron's next move. The team also delivered Irina to the safety of the Church of St. Andrew under Father Lucian's watchful eye. The bartender of the Blue Water Inn, Erwin, asked the party to check on and help deliver his missing supply of wine from the Wizards of Wine winery south of Kretsk, with the offer of free room and board upon delivery of the missing shipment. As they bedded down for the evening, Jennifer had some interesting as she took a nap, in fact, Jennifer had some interesting dreams and experiences, including speaking with the voice she's been hearing, who introduced itself as Irgra, and she woke up to a sack of 50 electrum, which she promptly hid under the mattress. The group then received several invitations from influential members of the town. Lady Fiona Wachter and Baron Vargas Volakovich both invited them to their homes the following day, which is where we'll pick up on. The party decided that they wished to visit Lady Wachter first, then to go to the Vistani camp neighboring outside, and experiencing and hearing what the Vistani have to say outside the walls of Vallaki, as well as to deliver the toy that they bought on behalf of Aragol and his niece. Finally, they will visit the Baron's estate to experience the final invitation and get a feel for trying to play both sides of the political intrigue going on here. So, that was day 1 in Vallaki. We pick up with the start of day 2. After just completing a long rest, what's everyone doing?
Okay, so everyone's rested, full healed, full spells, all that good stuff. Okay, cool. Why don't you guys lead for a bit, because I'm getting caught up still in all the intricacies.
Well,
says Darian as he wakes from his sleepy stupor.
You've been here the whole time, Darian. I don't know.
I had an extra long rest. I'm not quite feeling myself today, so I'll let somebody else be the noble-blooded Baron today.
Pop quiz. Who is in charge of the windmill?
Not me yet, I guess. It's not been ratified, huh? Okay, cool.
How's that piece of paper, by the way? How's that piece of paper, by the way?
I don't know. I think we copied it, right? Should be good.
Oh, it is?
Something happened,
cool.
Yeah. Sounds like Jennifer has arrived. Our sentry doggos have let us know of her presence.
You can really hear the wolves from the town.
faithful hounds.
yeah, Darian's Faithful Hounds.
Darian's Faithful Hounds,
It's a good spell. Well, what are you guys doing? Picking up with the three of you.
How are you?
Well, Mary Lou's, I guess, eating a nice breakfast.
Okay, so you head down and
breakfast.
get breakfast from the innkeeper. That's going to be 1 silver per breakfast, each of you.
She will have a beer with her breakfast.
Okay. Not much beer here, but we do have the purple grape mash. If you are interested in some wine, it's about all we got left until you get that.
Cool.
Thing
I
sorted.
mean, you get some
Shipment
hops, you
sorted
get some
for you.
yeast, like you can brew your own beer. But anyway, how much per wine?
3 copper.
3 copper. Sorry.
Welcome back from Ireland.
Okay. Well, so story is use Google. Don't think you know where you're going.
All right. Well, welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, no problem. We just did the recap. Is there anything particular that you needed reminded of, or you all good doing this? We're just coming out of the second, first long rest, coming into the second day.
First long rest coming to the second day. And we are all still in the inn?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone's getting down to breakfast. Silver each for breakfast, and an additional 3 copper for Mary Lou, who's ordering some wine.
Oh, okay. Wine for breakfast? I think I'm okay. Did we cement plans on if we're going to the Baron, or?
I believe that the team had decided that they wanted to visit, correct me if I'm wrong, the team wanted to visit Lady Wachter first in the morning, then in the afternoon kind of visit the Vistani camp outside of Vallaki and get some more information about what's going on with them before heading finally over to the Baron in the more late afternoon, evening time.
Okay.
And Lady Walker, did we decide we wanted to surprise her? Or that we were going to send a note ahead? Or what was the protocol?
So good, fella.
Yeah.
We were like, she invited us. She knows we're.
Sounds good.
You told us to come whenever.
And Kat, if you want to do a share when you get a sec, that'd be
Yes,
wonderful.
yes,
I know
yes.
you just get stuff. Oh goodness, I'm flinging things everywhere. This is what happens when the curse of all DMs is not having a long enough table. Even if you have a 6-foot table, it's not long enough.
You spend
You
the
need-
space you're given.
Yeah,
It's
you
that
need
goldfish
infinite,
thing, right?
infinite table. So
That'd be a good spell. Infinite table.
yeah, that'd be the spell I'd pick. All right, so as Jennifer is collecting herself in the morning, maybe putting on some second day makeup or tidying that up.
And you know what? Jennifer would make everybody wait anyways.
It's role playing. It's role playing.
It's roleplay, it's fine.
So go ahead and do whatever else everyone else is doing. Is there anything anyone wants to do? So far, you guys are the only ones in the inn. There's no sign of Octavio this early in the morning. You guys have kind of gotten an earlier start. Both Jennifer and Darian appear rather tired, with sort of an extra darker bruise sort of under their eye, or eyes. But they still get the benefits of a long rest otherwise and everything there.
So while we may not need them today, I'll hand out another set of good berries. So I'll cast good berries and give everybody their rations for the day.
Thank you. So I'm definitely trying to put on some makeup to cover that up, but how is the rest of the party looking as far as appearance-wise?
Reasonably rested.
Do they look clean?
No one's taken a bath yet, or availed themselves to the bathing services here in the inn. So everyone's looking a little grimy, but that would be where everyone's at probably.
So, just a
The
thought.
lived in.
We are going to be meeting some of the town leadership, and I think maybe, don't take this the wrong way, maybe we should spend a couple minutes sprucing ourselves up and maybe trying not to look like we've been traveling for a while. You know, just because people judge on appearances so much.
Yep, you are
Very
wearing the
good.
road at the moment.
That sounds like a very good plan.
Oh, yep. I think you have a good point.
Yeah, and actually, I'm gonna go up to it's Danica, and can you remind me of the barman? Irwin. Who is at the bar right now?
Irwin is at the moment.
So I will approach Irwin.
Morning.
Good morning. A question for you.
Yeah.
We have a whole list of things that we need to do today, and some of them include visiting the Baron and Lady Wachter, which you can imagine our current state. We're not really super presentable right now.
Interesting decisions, but yep, I would agree with your assessment.
I think that, yeah, they're not really decisions. You know that kind of voluntold situation? I think we kind of have to do it whether we want to or not.
see. Well, I urge you to step carefully in both cases.
Okay. Any particular tips for either of these personalities?
The Baron is very enacting of his Vallakian law and very quick to condemn those who upset his order and the joy that he is trying to spread with his festivals and other work. So tread carefully there. Lady Wachter, I do not know as much about her, only that her bad side has been said, rumored, to be a hard thing to honor.
Okay. Well, good to know. Thank you. It's very helpful.
My pleasure. There's a bath in the back. If in the back part of the bar, and it kind of indicates to a little section, a small side door, just under the stairs. It's a copper per soap.
Okay. We'll happily pay that. We will probably need several soaps, I'm guessing. But a more specific question. Some of my companions here have attire that's really great for the road, but not really great for meeting leadership. I was wondering if you had maybe a finer set of robes that we could borrow, and we'll take good care of them and return them to you once we're done with these meetings. Just kind of like a rental, like you might say.
Well, I'd be happy to do such a thing. You might have a harder time convincing my wife. She usually, she'll be more on board for the rental idea, I believe. She's a thrifty lady, they say. But I'm begging your pardon, I'm not sure that we have clothing that'll fit all of your various physiques, if you understand me. Just the two of us, and nothing for the shorter fellow there, I'm afraid.
He's exotic anyways, they won't. Just saying.
But if you want to borrow my nicer attire might serve the pointy-eared fellow over there. And as for the ladies, I can ask my wife, but I'm sure she'll be interested in a fair trade.
You'd be compensated.
That would be
I
appreciated.
don't expect you to do this out of goodwill.
Well, just a moment, if you would like, and I can go ask her.
Sure. And I'll turn to the party and tell them. So maybe we have some better clothes, probably for you, Nora, and you, Darian. Mary Lou, you look great the way you are. Claudio.
I'm a priest, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can pull that card.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and easy.
Darian will pony up the copper for the party for the soap.
Okay. So it's 5 copper. Erwin turns to go behind the bar, and you hear sort of a... You're not quite catching the words, but you're hearing a discussion unfold. But you're certain that you hear, I'll be getting silver for my dress, thank you. Okay. And he comes back out. Well, it'll be for the day. Just because of our special deal, you understand, it's a one-time affair for the day. Each of you ladies can borrow one of my lovely wife's dresses for 3 silver each for the day.
Oh, I have one. Do you have?
And of course, another 3 silver for the gentleman here.
Let me check my goal.
I appreciate that.
My
But
scores.
plate my like one anyway. Or bring that, whatever I have.
I don't think you have plate mail just yet.
Can we maybe put something on
Achievement.
over it? Or maybe like a cloak, a nice cloak, if that's an option for Danica's selection.
I suppose it'd be a clanky cloak.
I mean, you have everyone has a traveling cloak, at least within the traveler's clothes set that they have as their starting equipment. But he says, well, not sure we have a cloak fancy enough for such an occasion.
That's
It's
okay.
noble folk, if you understand me.
Well, we tried, and I would like to say
It's very attached.
I would like to say I see where you're coming from, but I don't.
So Darian will pony up the 3 silver and thank the barkeep.
Okay. So here you are. It's one set of borrowed nobleman's clothes, or fancier clothes.
Nora will go try to wipe off her armor as best she can.
Okay.
Maybe give it a little polish.
Sounds good. So is everyone availing themselves to the baths?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be probably about a 2-hour affair, so since only one's hub. So you have to, there has to be lots of. Erwin is ferrying back and forth quite frequently with extra buckets of water to empty and renew the warm bath. But it is a warm bath, which is a nice experience to be had here. Kind of a very small creature comfort to enjoy after your time in Barovia, which has not been filled with very many creature comforts. The waters are varying scales of gray and brown, pretty much throughout the 2-hour experience. But you guys emerge cleaner, for certain, than you were, even if there's still a little bit of dirt in some of the hair.
During this marathon, will help Erwin with the bucket ferrying.
Appreciate it. Not as spry as I used to be. Although I
But
doubt I ever was as spry as you.
yeah, I've been called spry in the past.
So did we sell? Remind me, did we sell any of the jewelry?
No.
That was in the next town, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 6 gold left in the party fund after paying for the rooms.
So Darian will turn to the party and say, hey, maybe we could use some of the jewelry that we picked up earlier to help make ourselves look a little more the part that we're trying to play.
It's very ugly and tarnished.
Okay.
So I think that it might have the opposite effect. It might cheapen
It was
us,
all tarnished, or just the stuff? Okay.
if I remember correctly.
I can't
Except
remember
it's
everything
all
we had.
from
Let me
the
see.
house, right?
All
Yeah.
from the house and all that.
Okay. We had the little moss agates as well.
Also from the house.
Also,
But that's a gem, right?
yeah,
How does that
that's-
get tarnished?
yeah, I think it's a gem. I mean, we could attempt to just like
Anything else we have we can...
I think we're probably as good as we're gonna get here.
Okay.
Jennifer, well, as part of my background it says that I have a set of fine robes,
Okay.
but can I have that be a dress instead?
Sure.
Okay, so Jennifer will have a lavender dress, one shoulder, very like Grecian style, and probably just like a simple gold belt that she'll wear her hair all fancy.
Looks good.
You guys look great.
Alright.
Look at you.
Jenny, can I borrow your comb?
Yeah. Oh, I'll take that tarnished
And-
silver.
Literally the only thing Mary Luz does is she brushes her hair, which is an improvement over normal, but yeah, no. Full just traveler's clothes, shirt that she ripped the sleeves off of, doing nothing.
You never mind. And she'll just take the brush back, but she'll like look at it and make sure that she can't see it.
Darling. I've slept in enough seedy places. I know how to not get headless.
Okay, I was just making sure.
You saying I'm not proper? You're
No.
the second person.
Rugged is the word that I would use.
Look, Rogan.
Yeah, rugged's great. Rugged gets the job done.
Alrighty. So after a thorough cleaning, the team is ready for their day on the town. So where are we heading off to first? Anything anyone wants to do beforehand? Everyone's donned their armor and their gear and stuff like that. Is there anything anyone wants to do?
I think we're ready to go.
I'm ready.
So just to clarify, who is wearing their armor during this time? You're wearing your armor. Are you wearing your armor?
Wears it beneath his robe. So.
Okay.
Darian doesn't need to, because he doesn't have his. It uses his silvery scales that have shown up
Okay.
recently.
Very nice.
Mary Lou's always on armor, but she definitely keeps the axe, the hatchet, the hand axe, the javelins. Like, they're all still on.
So
Yeah, the weapons that we have.
thinking
We still
about
have.
that, have we thought about maybe not looking so menacing?
Never a day in my life.
Take it or leave it, man.
Great. I just, in these social environments, what you look like immediately is very important to how the entire exchange goes.
And you don't like the way I look?
I think the way you look is fantastic, and I'm so grateful for your help, and you have been proven to be a great ally. However, I'm not sure if the Baron will really appreciate someone coming into his chambers armed so heavily as you are.
I mean, I can ditch the javelins, but that's as far as we're gonna get.
We'll take that. Maybe just no javelins. Okay. Maybe that will be enough.
That sounds like a will, right?
Yeah.
No javelins.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not leaving my axe. And besides, let's be real. Me and Claudio, like, we're medicine And even without any weapons?
True. But maybe you can conceal the weapons a little better?
I'm gonna point at her gigantic great axe.
Looked like he was enormous.
I think you're heading for damage control there more than perfection.
At least I can say I tried.
Fair enough.
Mary Lou will take the javelins and sort of shove them under her mattress.
Okay. Speaking of under the mattress, are you leaving the money where it is?
No, it's just
You ready?
all her.
You're just on all armor.
That's how she runs.
Probably take it because it might be gone from your back.
I will grab it,
Okay.
but I'd like to. I'll go up to Erwin.
Mm-hmm.
Erwin,
Yes, sir?
yeah, and I'm sorry I'm being so needy this morning.
No problem. My pleasure.
A lot of establishments I've stayed at before have some sort of safekeeping.
You leave her with me, and I can keep something safe.
It will be very helpful, and I will make sure that if you're able to keep this safe, you will be compensated for that as well.
Not necessary, but I appreciate it.
And
And you hear from back, yes, it is necessary. Take the money.
Listen to your wife, she's right. Don't do anything for free.
Well,
Unless it's
I
for
try.
you.
I try.
And I'll hand over the money back to him.
Okay. Well, when you go to collect it back up from breakfast, you realize it's not there anymore. And when you're reaching underneath, you find a scrap of parchment.
Why are you doing this to me, Nicholas?
You pull out the scrap of parchment, upon which, in a flowing script, it just says, "I know what you did."
Well, I'm going to take a closer look at the parchment and see if, with all the notes that we've been getting, if this particular script looks familiar.
What are you comparing to?
I'd like to compare it to the two notes that we got from the Raven, the handwriting of the note from Strahd, of allegedly Strahd.
Yes.
And did we get a handwritten summons from Lady Wachter? That was
You did,
him.
yes.
Yeah, I'll compare it to those.
Okay, go ahead and make a general intelligence check.
That is 18.
So it doesn't appear to be identical to any of these, but you notice that many of these notes are written in a flowing sort of script. Maybe that's just the handwriting style of the people here, but it doesn't match any perfect handwriting comparisons between any of the notes.
Okay.
What you're also interested to find is that the ink is very dry, almost like, for someone who maybe had just, since there wasn't a lot of time to stuff the note between when you were down at breakfast. It's not wet, not even a trace of looking wet.
Okay.
Looks old, in fact.
So, I presume the party's still getting fancy and getting ready.
Yeah, this is sort of as part of the morning, several hour breakfast, bath, whole deal.
Can I spend a couple minutes and put up Detect Magic as a ritual? I've never done this before. I don't know if I need components for that.
Okay. I am wondering if the sorcerer is...
I can get it because of Bard now.
Oh, because a bard now.
Yeah.
That's correct. Okay, that's right. You multi-class in the bard. Of course. So, you put it up as a ritual.
Do I need any... When I'm doing ritual castings, is it just like a meditation, or...
As long as you have the original components.
So the way components work is if they have a monetary component, then they are consumed with. They often are dictated whether they're consumed or not by the spell.
Okay.
And obviously, if they have a monetary component, you have to offer that up each time you cast. But in the case of Detect Magic, that is not the case.
Okay.
So you would spend 10 minutes or 11 minutes or whatever it is. It's plus 10 to whatever the normal casting time is. And bring up your Detect Magic, which for you comes from within under your mask.
Right.
And everything kind of appears in sort of a shadowy purple kind of color. Your own shadow appears to resonate with some additional magic. And as you're doing it, you just get a wave from your shadow on the floor.
I wasn't able to see it before having detect. Like, was my shadow obvious and present?
Your shadow was present before,
Okay.
in the light of the room,
Okay.
but now it's obviously waving to you where it wasn't before.
I'll wave back and give it a thumbs up.
And it sort of like nods and gives a thumbs up. Good luck today.
I'll point to the note and be like, do you have any idea about this?
I can't see it, sweetie.
Oh. And then I'll like turn it to the shadow.
I wasn't here when it was placed. Looks old.
Something strange is happening.
Say, speaking to your shadow. I'm not there. This is just me. So.
You just hear like a small counter shadow, and it's just Brandon.
It's just pretty.
Not Claudio. Brandon.
I have a strange suspicion that I'll be needing your help today. Are you around, or how can I contact you?
Just ask. You know where to reach. And as she says it, as it says it, it's sort of an androgynous voice, hard to discern. You sort of already get the sense of like where in your mind to cast the mental request for help.
Okay.
When it comes to that. But I am always with you.
Well, that's reassuring and terrifying simultaneously.
That's often what I aim for.
Great. Well, should I say goodbye, or maybe I guess not?
Not really necessary.
Okay.
On we go.
On we go. So with the detect magic, was I getting anything from the note?
Nope.
Anything else in the room? Shit. I will go downstairs and join the party. And
Okay.
I assume that I never had this no, I probably did still had the conversation with Erwin about safekeeping.
You already would have had that conversation and then gone up to go get the money.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, okay. No
Yeah,
problem.
it'll be
Well,
fun.
it's free if you. I'm happy to offer it for free if that's the problem.
No. How secure are your rooms?
Reasonably secure. Usually have a few lookouts around the space, and nothing was reported. Some fog rolled in or mist, maybe, but nothing too unusual these days, or in Barovia in general, really.
Do your sentinels, do they work well in the fog also? Or does the fog really include their ability to keep a lookout?
Doesn't it include yours?
I can see really well. Depends.
Well, that's mighty fine useful, I imagine, in these lands.
Sure is. Could I ask, I'm suspecting that there's something missing from my room, and I could have just misplaced it, but could I ask if your sentinels would keep a particular eye on the room?
Absolutely, I will see it done.
Thank you. And I'll go ahead and join the party.
Hey Nora. Something that just occurred to me. We're going to these fancy houses. What are we doing about that there hound dog?
Who's my buddy? He's
Oh,
our buddy.
can we put a bow tie on him?
I hope yes.
Do we have a... Claudio, Darian, do either of you have a bow tie?
I have the rest of the black claw. We
Can
used
we-
some of that for the peg leg to help with the cushioning.
Can
You
we
want the
make...
rest of that?
Yeah, let's make a bow tie for him.
So Darian will
Okay.
give the rest of the black claw.
Maybe like a mascot kind of a thing?
Maybe used to being dress up doll. Lancelot sits and sort of extends his neck for you to tie a black ribbon around.
Does he like it? I can't speak with animals. Does he like it?
I mean, I can ask if you really want me to.
I do.
I think
I've
we
got...
can tell. I think we can tell. He likes
I
it.
think he's wagging his tail. I think he's loving it.
Yeah, I wasn't in much support of us getting a pet at first, but this guy's grown on me. Oh, speaking of pets,
Did I feed it? I think I fed it last session.
still, I don't know, Jenny. It's also still living
There's
in a
pets
card
and there's
box.
captives.
You might wanna. I'm not giving that one a bow tie.
I'll take out the card box.
The box of moss.
just hold my ear up to it and see if I
Make a
can.
perception check.
Oh, shit.
Up to 3.
Utter silence.
Oh no. Well, I don't hear anything.
Maybe it's sleeping.
It's
Also,
sleeping
a moth.
eternally.
Didn't it used to make a thrumming sound?
It did. I will put, I'll rip off a little piece of, I guess the ration would be like jerky or something, and rip off a piece of jerky and open it real quick and put it in, just really fast.
Okay. You don't notice the moth inside when you open it, but you didn't look very carefully.
No. We'll address this another time. If it's still alive, it has a snack, and if it's dead, then it doesn't need the snack.
I mean,
What if it's not in there anymore?
What if
We'll
it
find
comes
out
out
later.
around the Baron?
I mean, you can feel it. You shake it a bit. hear
You guys are
something
giving me
there.
anxiety. This is all hypothetical situations. We need to go see the Baron. We're running late already.
We're going to Lady Wachter, eh?
The moth is fine, and if it comes out, I'll blame it on them.
On the
All
bear.
right, let's
Yes.
start moving then.
Okay, Mary Lou, heating Jennifer's by, she can't conceal the great axe. She will try to conceal, put her traveler's cloak over and conceal the hatchet and the hand axe.
Okay.
So we're all
You met
dressed
with
up.
reasonable success. You can tell that you're wearing something under your robe, but at least it's not obvious. Okay, so you guys are all set and heading out. It's sort of a, luke cold day out in the Barovian land here in Vallaki. The mist has rolled in a little bit, but it seems to be maybe burning off into the overcast, dreary boredom of the delightful weather that is here in Barovia. And after having a little bit of a brief orientation in your directions and things like that, you can start heading over to where you remember being told about where Lady Wachter lives, based on, I believe she has mentioned it in her note as well. So you extend more towards the center areas of the village, the town, away from the inn, and you set your back to what you come to the space, a crossroads where you see what would extend towards the areas that match the indication, the northern side, the northern middle of the town. And behind you, you hear some more from the space, the sort of town square area that you have yet to really explore more thoroughly, and hear the sound of the braying, or uncover what the sound of the braying has to do with. But you do hear some noises as well from back below, and some splashing of water. So,
Okay.
otherwise, you face northerly from putting the town square at your back to head to your appointment with Lady Wachter. It's probably about 10 o'clock in the morning now, if you had to guess.
Good time to say hello.
Guess so?
If I open my pocket watch that I was given,
Mm-hmm.
what does it say 10 o'clock here?
Where did you get the pocket watch again?
Mixing.
Campaigns.
Mixing campaigns.
I do actually have a pocket watch. It's just broken.
There you go. Okay.
Well, I think you'd have a steady.
It says a time, but it is not 10 o'clock. It doesn't make much sense for it to be 1:30 in any regard, so there you have it.
This thing's broken.
You just did the whole check your wrist when you're not actually wearing a watch.
Yeah,
thing.
basically. So very nice there, but you head on over to the northern middle area of the town, and eventually weave your way to the manor that was indicated to you as the Wachter House. It stands upon a lush and large property with a rather pleasant and rich garden to the western side. This house itself has a lot of creeping ivy and vines running up its eastern side, which frames a nice high ornate window on the second story. And the roof seems to be casting long shadows, but frankly all the shadows seem kind of long here.
Mary Lou will take a peek at Jennifer's shadow, since, she's had experience with that.
Were we told about her shadow? Did she
You
tell
were
us
not.
this?
Well, but Mary Lou saw.
Yeah, the
You
two
would
of you
know.
would know about it, but not to the rest of them.
So I'll see you. I assume I can see you looking at my shadow.
Yep. It seems pretty normal.
Do we see that?
Make a perception check.
Nothing really matters. Yeah, natural 20.
Yes, you do see a strange exchange where Jennifer sort of gives like a cheesy grinned thumbs up to Mary Lou there, and you hear sort of a "Don't tell him." So secrets are being kept from this one.
This is not gonna bite me in the butt. Oy, oy, oy. Everything is fine.
What your moth is saying, maybe.
How should we announce ourselves? Are we going to? So Darian's asking to the group. Do you want to play up a particular part of our strengths, adventuring skills, anything that we want to highlight as we talk with this?
Maybe
person?
we just leave it as at peddlers.
Okay.
And I would like to maybe play on the side of like ignorance, so we have no idea about the political situation. We don't know the nuances. I mean, we really don't, but really play into that so that we can have plausible deniability.
Good. And open eyes, open mind.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah, we don't just go in and be like, she's a badass angel lady, you know, there's the whole thing with the apothecary.
So Darian will call out and say, "Behold, the peddlers have arrived to answer your summons." And he comes up and sort of knocks.
Okay.
Behold!
You hear as the door opens, and out steps a sort of somewhat familiar looking, although you can't quite place him, a man with sort of kind of a gray auburn colored hair, kind of faded colors all the way around. He looks like he's kind of well dressed up for the occasion, but is otherwise maybe a little grubby looking. And says, "Oh yes, we're expecting you. Quite a interesting way to announce yourselves. But in any case, right this way. I'll come on in. Lady Walker is happy to accommodate you in the dining hall." And she or he steps aside and opens the door for you guys to all enter in.
Okay, great. Go good.
Yeah. So as you're entering in, you see lavish stained glass framed in the sort of receiving parlor area, and you get to through another doorway into a small space with a stairwell that leads up to a sort of balcony raised second floor. But to your immediate left is a door, and the man says, "Oh, and I am of course Ernst Warnack, a pleasant and happy aide to Our Lady Walker here in the Walker House." And she is right this way. And he opens the door to the left and gestures, and inside you see a lavishly decorated, very nice set, rich mahogany table set with platters, and already you see and can smell some like baked goods and tea and things like that. You're seeing a beautiful chandelier that raises over that space, and he says, "Just on through this way, please," and kind of gestures. He kind of gives you a quick eye, noticing some of the weaponry that you guys are carrying, but doesn't say anything in particular, and steps over and sort of leads you guys just past the dining room space to a sort of parlor space adjoined to the dining space, and there are several plush couches and chairs. At the end tables there is a very nice looking china tea set, kind of porcelain tea set, with what look like little cookies and other confections laid around. And sitting at one of the couches, although she stands right as you arrive, is a finely dressed, somewhat graying lady. She has a sharp, sort of worn features of a proud noble in harder times. She's got laced silks and gold finery that are found on her clothes and on the cushions around her. And her sunken eyes sort of gleam with a very sharp intelligence as she studies each of you and kind of pauses for a moment, and then gives a welcoming smile. She says, "Ah, my guests, I'm glad you received your invitation, and you can leave us, Mr. Warnack. Do apologize for his appearance. He's useful, but doesn't clean up as nicely as all of you. Come, please, sit. I, of course, am Lady Walker, and I have heard of each of you by reputation, but I would be happy to extend the courtesy of greetings. Who might you be?"
Well, met Lady Walker, and we'll do a little curtsy and kind of hello, Mary Lou, to do the same.
And Darian will give sort of a half bow kind of indication.
Flavia would also know.
Very well.
Mary Lou does a very confused curtsy since she's not wearing a skirt.
Are you guys giving your guys' names, or are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mary Lou.
Nora.
Darian.
Jennifer, maybe? And I'll gesture to the seats.
Yes, please, of course. Sit, and of course, and tea. Will you take tea?
Please, that'd be lovely.
And she
Yes, thank you.
goes through the motions of pouring out a cup of tea and getting a couple of those nice cookie biscuits and shortbread cookies and distributing them to everybody. It's a nice local brew, but not as sharp as some of the other things found in the land, so you needn't worry. Do you take sugar or cream?
Oh, none for me, thanks.
Very well.
Question out of character. We don't have Irina with us.
You do not.
Okay. Share.
Did Lancelot make it inside?
He did.
While everybody's talking to her, can I like put the tea down there and have him sniff it?
He's
Oh. I'm gonna like take it back and let him start sniffing it.
Yes. Well, I am glad that you brought a friend. And who's this proper fellow?
Oh, this is Lancelot.
Oh, pleased to meet you, Lancelot. And she extends her hand for him to sniff, and he sort of kind of backs up a little bit, a bit shy, perhaps. Well, perhaps he also smells the other members of the family. I would ask if you do stay here a prolonged amount of time, if you just keep him to the downstairs area. My daughter might not take well to him, unfortunately, and she seems pretty unhappy mentioning her daughter, and seems to kind of strained. That's the word I was looking for. As she mentions it.
So why might your daughter not be interested with dogs? Has she had bad experiences with them?
She has had bad experiences in general, and unfortunately, well, she's just not quite right anymore after what has happened. And she seems diminished and sorrowful. But please, let us not begin with such somber topics. I understand that you are all new here, and were involved in quite a bit of excitement yesterday, uncovering what seems to be a rather unfortunate turn of events to be found here.
Oh, it was terrible. Just terrible.
I can imagine.
How much did you hear about it? Maybe we can pepper in some more details that you may have missed.
Oh, quite a bit, in fact. I keep myself well informed of the goings-on here, and even if we have a negligent landlord here in Barovia, and of course the madman himself, our Baron, I still keep my hands involved with various events, and was pleased to know that there weren't any severe casualties, although the guards seemed to have taken a little bit of a toll, shutting down. And it seems to be that the building is to be burned down later this afternoon, from what I understand. And
Oh, that's a shame.
indeed,
Do you know if they were able to resolve the situation in its entirety?
that is my understanding. Yes, the Baron's brute took care of much of the forceful acts necessary, and I understand that whatever it was that befell you down there was taken care of. I believe they seek to burn the building to prevent any further monstrosities from arising.
Well, it was a true abomination. But
Oh yes, indeed.
it is a shame that if they are to burn up the building tonight, that there could be so much knowledge lost. Maybe we could understand a little bit more about how and why these things were created if we were able to just have access to it.
That is true, perhaps, but
Just curious.
it's not very easily done given its quarantine nature, and I believe they are actually burning it this early afternoon rather than the evening. It was to be scheduled, and I'm not sure if the Baron will make an appearance. He does love a good burning, that is for sure, but if nothing else, I imagine the Captain Isaac will be handling the burning itself with his twisted, monstrous hand, after all.
If I were so well connected, I might want to extend my web a little bit further in hopes to gain that knowledge that lies within that building.
Go and make a persuasion check.
And the whole time, Mary Lou's been sort of fake drinking her tea and not touching any of the cookies.
Okay.
Flutter's been going.
Learned your lesson, huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going for it. Got it.
I'm gonna drink all the tea.
Got it.
That
Well, not all of
is a 20 total.
20 total. Yes, well, I concur. In fact, I have a little bit of a, well, I suppose we might just get right into it then. I have a few, perhaps, requests of you. I wish to simply lay forth my cards on the table, as it were, to understand, as outsiders may not, the circumstances by which we are living here in Vallaki under our Baron's rule. The vicious Baron is worse than any devil. And he is the latest in a line of cruel leaders here in Vallaki. His father was a particular fan of hangings. And Vargas and his captain, Mr. Strahd, are both brutes. Folk think that only Izek does the dirty work, but I know better. Our Baron has his own cruel streak. Perhaps that's why his wife, Lydia, is so delicate. And I tried the peaceful path of diplomacy to bridge the gaps and establish a better regime. I arranged a marriage with my own Stella, my daughter, and the Baron's son Victor. I was shocked to find that even at a young age, Victor was as awful as his father. I don't know what he did to my poor Stella, but it broke her mind. She remains here, convinced that she is not human, content to crawl and paw at the world. Can you not imagine how much better Vallaki would be without the Baron? Even you have already certainly dealt with his harsh rules, although I believe you've pulled a few political tricks with your missing companion to navigate through some of the worst parts of that. Take a look to the town square if you do not believe me and see what goes on there. It is just the first taste of what he does. We have the potential even to reconnect with the village of Barovia and unite in strength, but the paranoid Baron would never allow it unless it was under his Vallakian law. She almost practically spits the last few words. I would want you to assist me in undermining the Baron. It is a dangerous task, I know, but you will be greatly compensated and rewarded as allies. Stand with me at the Festival of the Blazing Sun, upcoming 2 days from now. There, we have a moment to put a proper disruption, revealing, of course, the Baron's weakness. He cannot stop what is outside our walls, and his spreading of joy is really brainwashing and ruling with an iron fist. If you are interested, I have a few further tasks for you, but I'd rather hear what you have to say. Know now, though, that if you refuse, I will promptly forget this conversation. Of course, we will have to go our separate ways. But I believe I believe you to be reasonably minded folk, with open eyes, understanding what has happened so far. I've seen already evidence of the cruelties here. If you have not so far, then again, I urge you to visit the town square, and of course, listen to those who have tales of loved ones going missing for laughing when they weren't supposed to laugh, bearing signs of protest, and speaking out against the Baron's awful rule and festivals. And of course, if you really wish, she kind of takes a deep breath, I can show you what the Baron's little Victor did to my poor Stella, and you will understand what kind of stock they are coming from.
Well, she just started talking about the daughter, or at least stopped fake drinking and visibly angry, shaking in her hands, tea sloshing everywhere.
Jennifer will put a hand to try to help still it with the cup on the table.
I get the same way, my dear, and you can see that she has set her saucer down as she's been speaking. Well, can I rely on you in my time of need? In Vallaki's time of need?
Lady Wachter, before we commit ourselves to your movement and quest, we'd like to learn more about, well, the situation here, and also what attempts have been made to, or what you know of, or what attempts have been made to work with our companion, our missing companion Irina, and connecting with the town of Barovia. You mentioned it.
Well, I have little power to wield such political maneuverings other than the odd messenger, that the roads are very dangerous these days, and without the coordination of the Baron's soldiers, I fear that we would not be very successful. But I hear that you have escorted Irina here to Vallaki. I'm sorry to say that she did not. I'm sorry to hear that she did not join us today. However, if you act as liaison for me, she and her brother, who I believe now inherit the ruling of the village from their late father, may arrange a more cooperative of that effort, particularly if the events planned at the festival go as designed. Of course, with Strahd out and about, folk are afraid. But you have traveled here boldly, and we can establish a greater safety here for Irina, so that she might not be just confined to the church's locale. And you are startled to hear her say Strahd's name aloud, as you remember your experience at the gate, where that was against Vallaki law.
So Darian continues saying that I noticed you said his name that was pointed out to be prohibited within the city. Is this another political jab at the Baron?
Many things are prohibited within the city, but I see no reason why we should speak so fearfully of a single name. We can be fearful of the individual, we can take careful precautions, but there is no reason that we should not be able to speak his name. In fact, such things just obscure and confuse the issue even further.
And I assume if you were successful in your task, that you would want to appoint yourself the new ruler of the city?
Obviously, I have stake in this game, but I would be open to arranging some sort of election, a more democratic process than a mere inheritance, as the Baron's family has been benefiting from for many centuries, for many decades.
If we were to assist you, what kind of support or reward would you guarantee?
Well, that depends on the manner of our success. But if you are able to aid me in installing a proper ruler, preferably myself, I will admit, but a proper ruler that can be agreed upon, and ousting the Baron's iron rule and his ridiculous laws, I can assure that you will be given a handsome property here, in the city, and you will be given privileges under the new established rule. I understand that each of you is also coming with various intent, various goals that you wish to attain. I can help facilitate these. And of course,
what do you know of our goals?
only what I have heard, only what I have gained from whispers and rumor, that it is said that you are each seeking mysteries related to family, missing loved ones. These are urges I can understand, and I consider myself a learned woman. I enjoy a good read. I believe that I can help perhaps point you in the right direction of further information, in addition to your monetarily reward that you might be receiving. As for support, I have worked to arrange such that we have reasonable chances, set ourselves at a good advantage, but I would prefer not to speak any further unless I have your word and bond that you will see it through. But before you decide, allow me to share one more piece of information. Twice I was told of a great prophecy, of strangers coming here from this land and bringing the light with them. I believe that you are those foretold heroes. If you stand with me at the Baron's upcoming festival, I believe that we can see to it that you complete this prophecy and that you attain each of these goals that you have set about on your own as well. I wish for a better Vallaki and a better Barovia, and I believe that we can attain that together.
Does she, especially where she was talking about, like, being, wanting to set up electric rule and stuff like that, does she seem genuine?
Go ahead and make an insight check.
I did one in a row.
natural 20.
For a total of?
I believe that is 18. Yes.
Okay. She seems obviously motivated, and she feels that you get the sense that she feels like she would be a much better replacement, and is, from what you can tell so far from your living experience, is the most likely candidate as such a well-positioned, well-regarded noble woman here in Vallaki. But she doesn't seem to be totally against the idea of some kind of more democratic process.
Who told you?
Hang on, 1 second, sorry. Claudia,
I
you want
was
us to do
going to
what?
ask, like in the first part where she was, laying the smackdown on the Baron.
Mhm.
She was going to insight check that.
Okay, go ahead and make an insight check.
That will be 24 total.
24!
Wow.
Yeah, great. Good roll. She seems completely genuine. She seems very motivated, and there is a lot of, like, hidden venom in her tone towards the Baron. And especially when she's talking about what happened to her daughter, she is like, she will do anything to undo this guy.
Gotcha.
Is the way you get the sense of. So, what say you? Kat,
Kat, did you have
something to say?
Yeah, I've
Sorry,
got a
jumped
few
off.
questions.
Sure.
Who you mentioned this prophecy?
Of course.
This is, who told you about this prophecy?
I would be happy to share that if you're able to sign on with our operation here. But suffice to say, from strong, widely respected individual, I believe you know Madame Eva.
Yes.
It was her that gave me the prophecy, although I will keep its words to myself until I am certain that you are such heroes as the prophecy dictates. We have had other adventuring groups through here, you see, but none have fit, I believe, so nicely.
Well, if what you say is true, I am completely behind usurping a tyrant.
I'm gladdened to hear that I am among my like-minded folk.
But you could understand that we need to verify this independently. Could we give you a response to your inquiry at a different time when we're able to have more information?
Ah, you wish to speak with the Baron and answer his invitation as well, do you not?
We have to, naturally.
Understandable. Perhaps it is a valuable opportunity to gather and understand where I am coming from and gather information about his operations yourselves. This is a reasonable request. However, I believe you will understand if that sets me at least a little bit on edge, as you might choose to side against me and reveal the information that I already put trust in you to share
Well, you could have
against me.
known that having us invited over, you put yourself at risk, which is fair.
Yes.
There's nothing that I can say to help ease your anxieties.
This is
Otherwise, it's other than saying it's not going to be in our benefit to reveal all of our cards to the Baron either.
We'll obviously keep your secret, Lady Walker.
Are you
However,
telling the truth?
we-
Are you going to be...
Nope. We'll tell the truth. And however, we aren't entirely aware of the political mire we're stepping into, and we need to be careful not to put ourselves or our other obligations, such as Irina, in jeopardy before we know the entire situation. And with that in mind, given that it sounds like you have put a lot of effort into your plans and machinations, how much do you think the Baron is aware of? And given your upcoming festival and your plans for it, should we be expecting a response from the Baron?
I do not believe that the Baron is as well connected as I am. Certainly I take great pains to make sure that what occurs upon even my home is kept from his prying eyes and ears. He is a paranoid man, yes. He even wears his armor within his own home. And he keeps his, well, not nearly as pleasant dogs as this one, but he keeps a pair of hounds with him as well to sniff out intruders. But he is not a master of spies. He rules through force, not finesse.
Do you think a political coup could have just the same effect as force in removing his influence?
I think that we will come to blows as soon as we raise arms or voices against his regime. He has made that very clear, arresting many, going so far as to arrest those who laugh at him at his festivals. And of course there is the matter of Isnik Strahd to be handled as well. He will call the guards in an instant if we speak out against him. We must be ready, therefore, in those moments. I do not believe that we will be able to usurp him without a restrained amount of force.
If we could, would you be interested in such an opportunity?
I doubt that you can.
Hypothetically.
Make a persuasion check.
Can I assist?
Well, it's at disadvantage, so we'll just say it's a straight roll.
Okay.
That is a persuasion is a 12.
I believe I have shared enough and said my piece. And if you believe that you can execute some greater means, I urge you not to try it. For I believe you will be swarmed by the guards and Captain Strahd the moment that you worked against him.
Sidebar with you guys, because I missed this. When you spoke with the captain, he was just pretending to be more aggressive than he actually was?
Yes.
Okay.
But then you could also be pretending to be. Oh no, we did a check on that, and it seems
So
sincere.
you got the sense that Captain Strahd was at least not as brutal as he seemed and looked. However, it was also clear via his conversation that he is the Baron's man.
Got it.
From what you can tell. And
Did we get any understanding of what he was motivated for, or if he had any things that he was going for, any goals?
What's his motivation?
Irina.
So Irina was his main motivation.
Yeah,
right?
basically he wanted us to arrange a meeting with Irina, said he was a close friend of Irina's, but that she wouldn't remember him, or not close, old friend, and we were like, Irina's in her early 20s, all these dolls are of her as an adult, why wouldn't she remember him? So we are very suspicious of him.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
as you guys are sort of talking and having this, you hear sort of like a little kitty wants to play. Meow. And you see, and she says, I apologize. It seems that my daughter has wanted to come say hello. And you see, crawling on all fours, prowling toward you, a teenage girl, dirty and ragged, crawling down the stairs and over towards the dining area. Meow. Kitty wants to... And she like hisses and like paws in the direction of Lancelot, who's sort of like...
Black Lancelot.
And you sort of... Kitty wants to play! Kitty wants to play! And she's like batting toward your feet, and she says, and Lady Wachter stands and says, come on now, Stella, upstairs. We shouldn't bother our guests, we can play later. I'll play with you later, come on. And she sort of she like got down on her level, and you can see this is where sort of the demure reservation kind of gets stripped away for Lady Wachter, and she's really sorrowful about her daughter's condition. And she raises her voice and she says, Larnack, Mr. Larnack, please get in here. And you hear, Kitty wants to play. And she's like batting at the hem of her mother's dress. And Ernst Larnack bursts back into the room and says, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, Lady Wachter. I know she's... It's alright, Mr. Larnack. Just please escort my daughter back to her room, and I will offer my apologies to our guests. And with a lot of kind of draping like cats do in under Larnack's arms, the daughter gets sort of carted off, and like she sort of is wiping tears off her face. Lady Wachter is, and looks at each of you and says, I'm sorry that you had to see that.
There is no need to apologize, my lady.
Is she always like that?
She was not always like that. She was a good and healthy child, as I explained when I tried to arrange a marriage with the Baron's son Victor, he performed some sort of experiment of some kind that broke her mind.
How
I know
long
not
ago was this?
a few years.
And have you had her seen by anybody?
Yes, I have asked very many individuals. I spoke with, in fact, Lady Kemlerite to see if she had any kind of concoctions that might be able to aid, and I spoke with Father Lucian. Despite his prayers and earnest attempts, it seems that he was unable to free her of whatever was done to her condition. I apologize that you had to see that. Perhaps it seems that we are at a bit of an impasse and that you wish to make your own decision after gathering some more information. Perhaps you can go on your way and getting that information, and I would like it very much if you could respond with an answer one way or another by tomorrow morning.
Can I ask you one more question before we leave?
Very well.
Do you suspect that the Baron has an alliance with Strahd?
I do not. If one thing is clear, the Baron is heavily opposed to Strahd's rule here, but the manner in which he opposes that is more detrimental than Strahd or the devil himself. He has made clear that any who speak the name of Strahd, or any who support his regime, or even imply that his rule is less than unsavory, are harshly punished.
And how would you deal with this Strahd situation if you were to be given leadership of the city?
I believe that there are many paths that can be taken, particularly if we are able to establish an alliance between the three major villages here. I am hesitant to take up arms against Strahd, especially considering in the last few, from my understanding, he has been more of a negligent landlord than an active curse upon the land. But if we are to work against him, I believe that, again, research, knowledge are powerful weapons and tools to use to our advantage.
Okay.
Now, if you don't mind, I would like to spend a little more time with my daughter. It seems that she is requiring a little bit of attention. Again, if you do not have not given a response by tomorrow morning, I will assume that you have decided to go a different way.
Well,
No.
thank you, Lady Wachter, for inviting us, and we'll give you a response promptly.
Very well, thank you. And Ernst Larnack has returned, and she says, "Mr. Larnack, we'll see you out now."
I hope your extension of your web is fruitful.
As do I. All right, and with that, Mr. Larnack escorts you from.
Are there any other servants?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Well, 3.
Not that you notice, but the place is well looked after and large enough that you would imagine that there's probably more than just one helper.
As they walk out, Meredith was very visibly shaking in anger.
Are you okay?
I've had better days.
Well, we gotta keep it together. You gotta push that down. Just gotta push the hate down.
Oh, you sound like my mother.
Oh.
I mean, you can let it out if you want. starts poking Meredith. It's like, I'm ready.
Lancelot, sensing maybe some unease, kind of comes up to you and just sort of presses his head gently up against your leg.
She gives him a chin scratch.
You get a big happy wagtail.
She smiles reluctantly.
Maybe hold him for a little while and it'll make you feel a little bit better.
Save that rage for the next combat.
He's very much enjoying the time and seems very calm in your arms and gives you the occasional lick on the arm.
It's hard to stay mad with you around, Lancy.
So what did you guys think of the proposal?
I
I'm
don't know.
assuming we're out of the house.
Yeah, at this point you guys have walked out of the house and have one more thing. As you guys turn to go, Ernst says to you all, he says, "I hope you understand the abrupt exit. I do apologize. It's not our intention for you to have seen such things, but I hope you can work with us if able. Lady Wachter would like me to remind each of you, or mention to each of you, that you are welcome to stay at her estate if you decide to, for free of course, if you decide to join the cause.
Mr. Lornak,
Ernst, please.
Ernst, you prefer. Will Lady Wachter succeed in her endeavors if we don't help her, in your opinion?
I would rather not speak of it out of doors, but I am happy where I am sighted.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Could be on the other side.
Alrighty, so after spending a little bit of time, not quite as long as you might have expected, with the abrupt exit and the appearance of Stella Wachter, you now have mentioned and met and heard from Lady Wachter. Is there anything you guys want to do before you head over to hit up your next major point? Which
What
is
was the next one?
I believe you guys had
Vistani.
talked about the Vistani, but obviously you can do it in any order you want.
Should we check on the Irina before we do anything else? Or just
Yeah,
want to make sure that
or at least send her a note.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
She did want to come with us for during the day. She kind of forgot about it and the hustle and bustle of everything.
Yeah, I think she'll understand. We'll fill her in.
I mean, I see no problem taking her to the Vistani, or I mean, the Baron seems to be on her side, so.
Yeah, how about we go grab her now and we'll all go to the Vistani together? Okay.
That
Sounds
Let's go
sounds
to the church.
still shaking a little, but
You get a lot of puppy kisses on your way over and a lot of scruffle pets. But you guys head on over to St. Angel's Church, and even before you get there, Irina comes like out the door, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, thank you, thank goodness! I am so glad you are well. I was worried you did not come, as we had spoken of, and I was fearing the worst. I am glad to know that you are all well. What has happened?"
apologies. We just had sort of a weird morning, but nothing to be concerned about.
We were invited by Lady Wachter,
Wachter.
unexpectedly, and we paid her a visit this morning before coming to visit you. She said some very interesting things, and so we'll relay to her the contents of the conversation.
Are we in the church?
Just outside.
Just outside? Okay. While we're relaying, Jennifer will elbow Purdue again. Maybe we should look around, make sure no one's listening.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe we have this discussion with,
Outside town?
outside of Vistani,
Yeah.
maybe, rather than in town.
Okay,
Just
so
take Irina with us.
are you holding off on explaining then, or are you going to explain to
We
Irina?
should explain to her now.
Well, I mean,
We can
should-
find a small spot, so we can pull her aside into the church or into a small room or something where
There
everyone
probably,
feels comfortable.
yeah, I'm sure there's a private room within the church that we can.
Yeah, because it might change our plans. if
But there's
Irina-
not much privacy in the church these days, with so many folk taking refuge there.
let's.
You know, maybe as we're walking, and I'll,
Yeah.
if we keep in hushed tones, I'll play a song over us so that people can hear what we're saying.
That's
Okay.
a good idea.
Go ahead and make a performance check.
Did we want to maybe detour through town square on our way out and see the things that the person told us about?
Yes. Yes, we should definitely do that. Well, have I had my caffeine?
He still
a
looks handsome in that
14.
bow tie, doesn't he?
What was that total?
14?
14. Yeah, it's a reasonable song with a reasonable pace, kind of capturing a little bit of the moment with the cool fog still lingering as it recedes to the graying skies along this town. You kind of capture a little bit of that moment. It's not your best work, but it's also pretty good. And you explain, and as Irina returns in hushed tones, she says, "Yes, many of those who are staying in the church know or have had family who have been harmed by the Baron's men. He does not sound like he is a good custodian here, but it seems that he is also able to establish a good order that we were never able to capture in my village, so I'm not sure yet what to make of it all. I am concerned that this might threaten my position and involvement here. I do not wish to get mired in political concerns, and certainly not a revolution. I was hoping to simply seek shelter here in until such time as perhaps, if we did move on to, I know you spoke of the Abbey in Kretsk, I would perhaps wish to join you on that, but otherwise I was hoping to simply seek shelter with the Church of St. Angelo and not worry so much about getting involved in various political endeavors that might cost us the protection that it affords. And she's like looking around all over the place while she's like rubbernecking.
Well, you have plausible deniability. You weren't with us.
That is true. That is true. But I hope that we can still remain a companionable troop, no matter how the outcome turns. I trust your judgment, but please keep me informed if we are able to.
Like you advised your brother, you may no longer have the luxury of staying out of political affairs. It seems like Lady Wagner or the Baron are likely to interfere with the town of Barovia in some way. She seemed to know a lot about you. Have you heard about her, or what do you know of her?
I know that she comes from a long line of noble family, but I've not had much of the privilege of interacting with her personally. However, yes, I agree that while I may not be able to get too directly involved, may not have the luxury of not getting involved. In fact, I was hoping that perhaps the protections afforded by the church could be a good starting point. And if things are so unrestful here, perhaps it is best for us. I have less sway, I guess you could say, to influence events in a positive way here, alone at least. Perhaps with your help, we are able to. What are your thoughts so far? That we should stand with this lady and help create a better positive situation here? I like what her words say, but what do you think of the lady herself?
We don't have enough information to make an informed decision yet, and we're hoping to meet with the Baron later to make a better, gain some better insight.
Frankly, I mislike the idea of staying here and working with the Baron, given what I have heard and experienced now firsthand of those who have suffered under his rule.
And it does seem like the lady is open to some sort of power sharing, which we may be able to negotiate a role either for you or for us that would help give you the protection that hopefully you seek.
This sounds like a good solution, but I agree. And what you have said, it sounds like exploring further information is a wise course at this moment.
Speaking like we did of people who know stuff that they shouldn't, we also talked to Ismark. He wants to meet with you, which...
Who did you meet? Izek.
Izek, yes.
Yeah. Strahd.
Wants to meet with you, and he says he's an old friend that...
The captain of the guard?
The captain of the guard. He says that he's an old friend of yours, but you might not remember him.
I do not. This is very true. I do not recall ever knowing this man.
Yeah, and it's weird because, like, you're what, like, your 20s, right?
That is correct.
And he's an old friend, so he's been, like, getting these dolls, but...
Dolls? What dolls?
We showed her the dolls.
Oh, yes, the dolls. Yes, quite a disturbing thing.
But if he's your old friend, why would he, and hasn't seen you for a while, obviously, why would he be able to make dolls of you as an adult? Like, wouldn't it be a teenager or a child?
This is a good point. And she continues to look around and continue to search avidly. I am more and more troubled by this revelation at the moment. If there is a meeting, I would kindly request, please, if you are able to accompany me.
Oh, I absolutely do not leave with this man alone. Like, it's not, as
Yeah,
weird.
he's gonna murder you.
Yeah, no, he is. I mean, he,
Well, goodness. Well, I am hoping that you are there to prevent it.
You guys all knew it too.
You're thinking you shouldn't say it.
I guess he
Say
might
it
also
yourself
kidnap
with
her
us.
to be his bride. He's real creepy.
So trying to soothe the tone, Darian says sort of, he may be one of the political players in this narrative. So we may have to get involved with him.
And you said he was
That's
the
a-
Baron's man?
We think he could be, yes. But his interest in you seemed strong enough. Perhaps we could utilize that to our advantage.
Very well. Well, perhaps it is worthwhile to meet with him, despite the risk, as perhaps in a more concerted and safe, prepared time with each of you present. Did he mention a time or place to meet?
I
No.
think he would clean up his schedule to meet you at any time.
Well, perhaps we can request one of the guards to send a message to him to meet, either today or tomorrow. Perhaps is a good option. Within the inn might be a good, safe, neutral location. With all of you present, it seems that that's familiar territory for us now, and might give us a little bit of a safe place where I think we can trust in the barman. Elsewise, perhaps meeting in the church, but again, there's little privacy there, so less.
Yeah. So yeah,
Or
all of that.
depending on what we decide with Lady Walker, perhaps at her residence.
Walker.
Walker.
Hey,
Per-
or Voctor, maybe, depending on
perhaps
how
maybe
the
with
situation
us,
goes.
with maybe Roctavio nearby, since he's one of our other allies in this town.
Excuse me, that was very,
It's very gooey.
very good, but very delicious.
Yeah,
Do
very
we have
good.
another?
Delicious
Is that
chocolate.
another one?
Yeah, that's enough.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Well,
Yeah,
those are very
they
good, Nate.
melted slightly, but
Those are very good.
So very good.
Well, yes, this is true. I believe that moving forward with our plan, or with your plan that you have laid out so far, seems reasonably wise. And have we heard from Octavio today, or seen from him?
I haven't. I figured he'd be off doing his own thing.
maybe we'll want to check in with him since I think the Baron figures out he's kind of been working against him. That's bad news.
Very well.
But yeah, I think let's go through town square, go see the Vistani, get some of the money from the toy thing, check in with them, see about their news.
Very well. I would like to accompany you if that is all right with you two.
Yeah. We were thinking of having you accompany us to the Vistani and then maybe to the Baron, because at least you've got like those political connections there.
Yes, and I believe he and his guards men have requested my presence
Explicitly.
directly. So it would be rude to not show, as it were. Well, very well. I will follow your lead. As always, I would prefer to stay closer to safety as best as possible, wherever that might be found. But it seems that we must travel a little bit of ways to attain to the camp of Vistani. Although from what you were saying, it does not seem too far from the outskirts of the village.
I don't remember. Out of character. Do you remember how far away?
It was like over a hill nearby or something.
That's correct. It was not too far. A few hours travel probably, at most. So
Okay.
pretty nearby, and just to the south
And
of.
what time is it right now?
1:30.
According to Claudiu's broken pocket watch, it is 1:30. But in actuality, it's probably closer to maybe 12, or just past midday.
Okay. We should be quick in the camp though, so that we're not late for the Baron.
Was there a particular time that we were going to meet the Baron?
I would think maybe not before he goes to bed. You know?
Yes, of course, that would be wise. Although, I'm sure that he keeps a late vigil. Usually, such men tend to do so, in my experience.
Oh, he sounds very paranoid.
Sounds like we could never sleep. Where's
Oh.
that armor in the house? I mean, I respect that.
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't think you can judge anyone for always wearing your armor and just sort of poke the armor.
Instead of a
I'll
chink, chink,
like
chink.
slot away.
See, you wear all that armor. I just,
You know.
yeah.
That is an
I'm-
interesting explanation, but very well. Perhaps we have to carry on outward to the city.
Arena, there's
Yes.
another piece of very important news, and Mary Lou will hold up Lancelot with the bow tie.
Yes, he looks like a proper fellow. That is very nice, and she gives him little ear
Yeah.
scritches.
She's not nearly excited about it as she should be.
Yeah.
Well, I am trying to manage my expectations. It has been a topsy-turvy sort of series of days since you have arrived, and who is to know what next we will be finding, so perhaps we ought to carry on. And again, I agree that we ought not to keep the Baron waiting too long.
Oh, Jennifer, speaking of pets, maybe when we're outside the town, we check in on your mom.
Don't let me forget.
Yeah, I mean, I knew a guy who's always drunk. Came into the pub. He said he locked his cat in a box and maybe poisoned it. And he said, "Oh, it's both dead and alive." He was very drunk at that point.
Oh, that sounds like a strange character.
Sounds like, but I think that's like your mom. We don't know if it's dead or alive until we open the box.
Jennifer's mom.
As you guys head out to the edge of the gate while you're having this discussion, one of the guards says, "Coming back for after hours. Make sure you get in the gates before curfew.
When's curfew?
A few hours before sunset."
When does the sun set here?
Well, I say sun as a colloquialism, but maybe an hour before nightfall.
I forget Jennifer wouldn't know what sunset is.
Keep an eye on the light in the sky. The darker it gets, start heading back. What are you new here?
Thank you. That is legitimately very helpful.
Out-of-towners.
Would you let us back? We just have an appointment, but we're not sure how long it will take us. We'll hurry back, but in the circumstances where we're not able to be at the gate by sundown, would you be able to let us in since you've seen us here? Now you know that we're friendly.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Wow, I'm not doing great today.
Oh.
That is.
We're never
a
coming
9.
back.
Miss, the lady, excuse me, the Baron frowns quite heavily on breaking of his laws, and bribery of his guards would also fall under that purview. I would ask that you simply make it back to the gate in time.
Yeah, okay.
While we were on our way here, we had discussed stopping in town square. Did we pass through it?
Yeah, at this point you have not. You've gotten to the gate. You can have made it to it if you'd like to, or made it a stop there beforehand, or you can just get it on the way back if you'd
We'll
like.
get on the way back.
Okay. Alright, so you guys head on out, and you know that the town, from when you spoke with Aragal, the Vistani on the road, who pointed you to who mentioned the camp, you know it's not too far southeast of town. And after a little bit of travel, on a little sort of side dirt road that you're easily able to find, the woods part to reveal a large, expansive clearing with a small grass-covered hill with low houses built into its various sides. Sort of fog and mist obscure them, but the buildings appear elegantly designed and carved in a more ornate way than what you have seen in any of the humanoid buildings here so far. Atop the hill is a ring of semi-familiar barrel-topped wagons that surround a large tent with a column of smoke pouring from its open top. Even at the distance, you can see the firelight and smell cooking of food and wine.
Jenny, before we get too close, you wanna?
Yeah. So I will conjure a mage hand.
Bobby will ready to say he remembers these things.
Okay.
Mary Lou will ready her axe.
I've got this under control.
You know what? That's what a lot
I mean,
of
it's sort of like looking back and forth between you. What's going on?
Oh, I have a mop.
One of those ones that attacked us?
Yeah,
A
one of those.
similar one.
It's the same thing.
This
It attacked
sounds
us.
inadvisable, but okay.
I wanted. Okay, well, I need to see if it's alive, so I will. With one hand, with both of my hands, open it while the mage hand is at the opening, so it can catch it if it were to come out.
Okay, so you've got the skeletal claw just hovering there.
Yep.
I mislike this thing.
My claw?
You would be
Well,
cool.
yes.
Yeah, it's a little more macabre than I remember, but
Yes, I would say I would concur with this.
well, there's not magic doctor I can talk to about it.
Well, carry on.
And I will tilt the box to slide the contents out into the mage hand.
Okay, it's dead.
Oh, it died!
Oh, what
That
a
was the
shame.
Now you can make it into a pin.
Skull moth pen.
Did we keep the moth box?
We still have the Lepidopterist's box.
Oh, I killed it, you guys.
I mean,
I mean, it didn't kill us, so win.
And you see the sort of somewhat shriveled, husk of this dead moth with crimson edges on its wings and the skull patterns there. And it just, as ominous as it seems, it gives no sign of life whatsoever.
It's really sad.
I think maybe you want to talk with Darian next time about like good pet ownership or Nora.
Well, I fed it.
Yeah, that worked out great.
It seemed to eat it. So I'll just put it back into the box.
Marilou's not sure what he's wearing a bow tie.
Immediately amused again.
Wagging tail going over and over. Alright, are you guys approaching the houses or the top of the hill first?
Maybe we should go to the top of the hill so that they can see us.
See a lay of the land. Yeah.
Okay. As you're approaching, you can hear a strong and stern man's voice kind of cursing someone out. You hear, "How could you be so stupid? By the fangs, the weave, and all the good wine in the land, you are the greatest moron to ever plague our people, Alexei." And you're hearing sort of like, "I know, look, I'm sorry. And as you approach higher up to the top of the hill, let's make sure I have the right section. You see a series of Vistani gathered around firelight. A few of them are drinking and kind of pointing and taking bets, it looks like, on what's transpiring here. But you see the familiar Aragal, who is standing kind of with his hand like on his sheath, or on his the hilt of his sword, belted at his side, a short sword. And you see someone who looks quite similar to him, sort of dark hair, handsome features, a little more hirsute, and a little more bulkily built than his counterpart, who is shouting down at a rather thin, ragged-looking individual who is sort of almost cowering in front of him. And is continuing saying, "How could you be so stupid? You let my daughter be captured or kidnapped or worse? What is wrong with you? You got drunk for this. No more alcohol for you ever again. And if you were lucky, you'll ever..." And he's like, "No, please, not the alcohol." And you see Aragal sort of nudge, and he says, "Luvash, visitors." The man, the big burly man, looks up and kind of, he's got a red face from shouting, he's angry, but he kind of looks and kind of, you see him take a second. "Hello, welcome, yes, I'm sorry you had to," and he kind of just jerks his hand, and who you gather to be Alexei, kind of like scrambles off. "Apologies, welcome to our fire and our camp. Who might you be?" And Aragal sort of steps in. He says, "These are the ones I told you about, brother. It is good to see you again. And each of you, this is my brother Luvash, and welcome to our fire." He kind of gives a quick gesture, but otherwise seems a little more tense than you last saw him. That's sort of what you're hearing. And
Interrupting something?
We
somewhat. I apologize you had to see that, but yes, in fact, my daughter has gone missing, or been taken, heaven forbid, things forbid, in fact. Her name is Arabelle. She's small, pale, dark hair like me. I don't know, she was supposed to be here. Maybe she wandered off, but Alexei was supposed to be keeping watch and didn't notice. The idiot got drunk, and now she's missing. I fear the worst, and I seem to recall a particularly unsavory character shouting with her a few days ago that I had to ward away from our camp.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's strange.
How old is Arabelle?
She's perhaps 9 years old. She's 9 years old, yes. Tomorrow, in fact, is her 10th birthday.
Oh,
What seemed to happen with this other man? What do you remember? Do you think he's the one who took her?
It stands to reason. He was arguing with her after she had played a little bit of a joke on him, and he vowed revenge by all the dark and frozen hatred within the waters. upon her.
Do you know the nature of the job?
Pretty serious stuff.
Yeah.
I thought so too, especially since it was a pretty mild thing, given all that could be considered. He, like Alexei, is a bit of a drunkard and was sleeping not too far from our wagons. My daughter decided to dribble some water on him to make it look as if he had wet himself, and he did not take kindly to such acts.
Well, that is a big threat to level on a 9-year-old, especially
Almost 10-year-old.
almost. I'm not sure that makes
Get it right, come on.
almost 10-year-old, especially since I've known a lot of drunkards and they just tend to wet themselves anyway.
My thoughts precisely, and I also felt it was a little bit over the top. I chased the man, Bluto I think his name was, away from the space, and
Oh, the fisherman.
of course banished him after giving him a little bit of a gentle tap to send him on his way. He vowed further cursings in a language that none of us spoke, and the mutterings of more drunkenness, if you ask me.
Does she? Maybe it has something to do with this. Does she like to go off and play often, or?
Admittedly, I have spoken to her many times about this, not to leave the troop too far away, but usually her wanderings are within reason, and certainly do not last this long. She was taken late last night.
Okay. Oh well. Aragol, is this who we brought the doll for? Well, I don't know who has the doll.
Probably Mary knows since we.
Yes, this is who I was intending the doll to go for. But perhaps if you were able to recover, I was just about to head out and search a little bit along some of the various waters of some of the various lakes here that Bluto has been known to visit. But Lake Zarovich is large and a wide span to capture. Perhaps if you were to aid me, we could cover more ground. Obviously, haste is important here.
We have heard the name Ludo before. Someone was gossiping about how he was doing crazy things to try to catch fish, which I don't like that in accordance with this.
Making offerings to some maybe dark things.
There's been all the more reason for us to make haste.
Do you
Vash
have
jumps in.
an item of Arabelle's? We have our good trusty old Lancelot here, and I mean we haven't really tested his bloodhound skills, but maybe he could help.
Anything that works. And he kind of returns and comes back with a small sort of greenish tunic that would be appropriate for the size of a younger girl, and presents it to Lancelot, who
Nora,
Is he getting anything?
Nora, maybe you can help instruct him on what we're trying to accomplish.
And maybe he could tell you what he's smelling too.
Yeah.
I'm glad we dressed him up for his first day as a detective.
Dress for the job you want.
okay.
I'll go ahead and do speak with animals.
Okay. So what do you want to? So you sort of breathe in deeply and mutter a quick prayer, and you get sort of under your breath, and you feel like a warm summery breeze brush over your face. What do you want to say?
Hi, Lancelot.
Hi.
Hey, did you sniff that cloak?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Do you remember that smell?
Yes, I do.
Do you think you could help us find that smell?
Maybe if I'm close enough. Yes.
Okay. Should we take the cloak with us so you can remember it better?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you ask him if he likes his bow tie?
Oh, how do you feel about that thing around your neck?
I like it. It's good.
You look very handsome, Lancelot.
Oh,
I'll
yes,
go
I
make
know.
some
Thank God.
stitches.
Yes, that's right there. Yes, that's good. That's good.
Laura, could you ask him if it smells like any of the locks of hair from the hag's hut?
Sure. I'll show him that, and then
You hear Luvash say, "What?"
Just a precaution.
This isn't ours. talk while I'm still talking to the dog.
We'll explain in a minute.
Okay, so you present the hairs,
Yeah.
and you sort of. Oh, no, not good,
Not good? Do you know why not good?
not good. Bad things happened.
Oh. Are these
Well-
ones... Okay.
Not the same though.
Not the same.
Yeah.
These two different. And
Yes.
I'm like holding the cloak in there.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Um,
good.
Oh, by the
We
way,
don't
she
hear
can.
any of what she's saying.
No,
Just-
none of you hear it aside from Nora.
Yeah.
Oh,
And she's making just noises.
Yeah, she's basically like conveying non-verbally, more or less.
By the way, we probably should have explained this. I don't know how, but with her magic-y stuff, she can talk to dogs. FYI, she's not crazy. Well,
Right.
she's not crazy because of that.
Okay.
Well, you know, she could be making it all.
Well, whatever gets her back, just get her back to me, all right? Please, please.
I could pretend to be
Look,
talking to
I've
dogs.
got. Look, if you get her back to me, I can. I get it. You guys are travelers, mercenaries, whatever. But I can make it worth your while. We've got some. And he kind of gestures to one of the wagons, and he kind of points to like a padlock. In there, there's a few good treasures that might go your way if you can bring her back to me. Please.
We're not gonna do it anyway, but we're not gonna say no.
Yeah, we're
Well,
not.
I will reward you either way. Please, the father's love is important for me to hold on to.
Do you know how much time we have until?
I know that she was taken late last night. She certainly didn't show up for morning breakfast, and she always is usually pretty vocal about wanting breakfast in the morning.
Same.
Do you know how long we have until sundown?
Yeah,
And
when
kind of
they
glances at the
get
sky.
dark.
Probably a good several hours.
Okay, if
5, 6 at least.
this search happens to take a really long time, could we're staying in Vallaki, but
Yes, you can
they've
stay
got-
here. Just please go.
Okay.
Everyone
Maybe we.
leave.
Yeah.
Maybe we run
Do we
and
have
talk to
any
Mary
indication?
back?
Do you have any reason to believe that she might have gone
Is it
south
just-
towards the Lenara River?
He didn't tell
Or
us the
Luna
specific time, right?
River? Or do you think the fishermen, and I guess I'll ask
Our
this to the
best-
whole group.
Our best lead is the fisherman Bluto.
Okay.
Luvash has already looked around, and I've had some of the other of members of the troop looking, and they have not seen much sign of her to the south. But there haven't been signs of her anywhere in particular. The fisherman angle is our best bet, I would argue. And he, Aragol kind of puts his hand on Luvash's shoulder and says, "We'll find her brother. I will make sure she comes back to us." And he kind of nods, and Aragol heads on off. He gets on a horse and begins sort of cantering down the hill, heading northerly.
Do you have more of those?
Or that there's 4 horses in total that are brought over to you guys. And he says, "These are important to the survival of our people. Please look after them. But if you are able to use them to make safe my daughter, then yes, you may use them for today until the end of the day."
That's in addition to Aragol's horse?
Aragol already left on his horse.
On his horse, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 4 other horses.
Yes.
See which way you
And there's 5 of us.
He went sort of northeasterly.
Okay, so we'll have one
Okay, so northeasterly, yeah. So that's not towards the bridge.
Right.
So, yeah,
Wherever you
bridge.
can find Pluto, he's a fisherman, so look for the water.
Do we want to split up, or do we want to ride
Stay
together?
together. We're not
Four
Yeah.
horses. Who can share?
Well, I can't ride a horse.
The gnome can probably fit on somebody
Are you
else's
kidding me? I'm
horse.
heavier than all of you.
Do you know?
Excuse me?
I might still be heavier than you.
I'm wearing a fancy dress.
I am a foot taller than you.
And I'm like 50 pounds on you.
At this, Irina says, look, we can share some rides. Maybe we can take off our armor as we're riding to make it a little bit easier,
Easier
or
on the
a little
animals.
bit more spreading across of the load. Why don't we go in pairs for a few of us? You and you can both ride individually, and the rest of us can pair up as best we can.
So Jennifer, why don't you come with me then, if
Sure.
you don't feel comfortable riding? Nora, how do you feel about horses?
I'll get on a horse.
Okay.
It's more
So-
if Irina wants to get on a horse with me or not.
I will get on a horse with you, yes.
Okay.
So two, single, 4 horses.
Well, we could put, if you guys ride together, we could put, oh, you're too chunky?
We're both strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're both real muscly.
Okay, never mind.
So they each got an
Okay. As the 2 of you get on the horses, you sort of get out from the horses a little bit. And with your animal, speak with animals up, you hear, Oh, jeez, this guy needs to go on a diet. um, and
Did the horse say something funny?
She just laughs.
Don't worry about it. I'm just sitting there laughing, like looking over it.
Lancelot does that thing where dogs like roll their tongue out of their mouth like they're laughing. All right, so which way are you guys? Where are you heading to?
So we should first head towards the bridge and then go up, I think.
Yeah, we'll head east.
We'll head east of Vallaki.
Okay.
We'll try and make it to the bridge, and then start going up towards where the river, the Luna River, connects with the lake.
Okay. So yeah, that works. Go ahead and make an animal handling check. Everybody who's heading up the horse riding. So
Okay.
one of you can
Is
do
my
it.
speed with animals still up?
Yeah. What do you want to say?
Can I say something to the horses?
Sure.
I hope you don't mind us riding, but we're looking for a little girl who's really important. Do you think you could help us? Maybe keep an ear and a nose out?
Yes, she is part of the herd.
Oh. Well, we're here to help you complete your herd.
Good. Let's go.
Animal, is that each person who's
Everyone who's heading up a riding of
Who's
the horse.
heading.
So if you're paired, one of you can go and do it. But otherwise, yeah, you can go. So why don't we?
-2 to animal handling.
Oh, wow.
Alrighty.
Got that whiz.
-4.
So.
-2.
Oh, -6.
That's the 6.
Okay.
Okay, so you got 2 total, 4 total.
4.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
12.
Okay.
15.
Okay. So overall, I mean, you're heading back, and it's a little bit ragged and rough. You're getting a little bit like some saddle sores are going to happen. That's for sure. But you guys are able to make good time. So you head up. The Vistani camp isn't at the river, so it'll be a good departure east for a while to get to
West.
west, excuse me, to get to the crossroads. But you head on over and begin making your trek. And for now, we'll go ahead and take a break there before we uncover what you guys get to. And there we go.
Okay.
Woo!
Oh no. Okay, and we're back. So the team had just headed off from the Vistani camp, having borrowed some horses, in seeking the missing daughter Arabelle of the Vistani camp leader, who was named Luvash. They're looking for Arabelle, and it seems like there might be some involvement with Bluto, the drunk fisherman, whom the team had heard a little bit about before.
What's the traveling speed of us now on horses?
It's faster. Let's see. I don't have it memorized. That means I should have looked this up.
That is surprising.
There's a lot to keep track of.
Well, no, considering the number of times I've been like, oh, we're traveling, you said this, 8 horses.
Yeah, so a war horse, so let's see, it wouldn't be a war horse. A riding horse, we'll say, is 60 feet speed, so twice as fast as normal people. So normal pace would be 6 miles per hour, and fast pace would be 8 miles per hour.
Cool.
So if you wanted to take a faster pace, you can decide to do that. So is that what people want to do? Or you
Yeah,
want to
we'll take a faster pace because we're already behind.
Okay.
And we
Maybe-
have other time constraints, so
Yeah, faster
Yeah.
Moving
pace
fast.
until we get to the lake and then we
yeah,
slow
then
down.
we can slow down.
Slow
So,
down.
so help me clarify. Are you heading to the crossroads on the map that you saw, or are you heading to the lake itself?
So I think we wanted to head to, and the team can correct me, head to the ford where the bridge is, and then go to the part where the river opens up into the lake. So start at the bridge, go north. Because
Yeah.
it doesn't look like there's a lot of... I mean, it looks like a very small amount on the map. I don't know how long that is. You can
Yeah.
tell us, but...
Yeah, so each of the, I think there should be a key on there, but each of the little hex tiles should be a half mile.
Yeah.
So you're able to make good time, for certain, but also bear in mind that there isn't like a clear road from the river to the lake, so it'll be a little bit harder terrain
Yep.
as the mountains and the trees.
But
take
it's
effect.
like a mile
But
from
yeah,
Vallaki.
go ahead and do. Everyone, go ahead and make a. So you've already done your animal handling check, so I'm taking that into account. But everyone, go ahead and make a perception check at -5.
Please don't make it. Please
I
don't make
mean,
it.
that's a -7 total.
Not the most perceptive individual, Mary Lou.
Oh, I mean, it's not good once you take away 7, but it's not negative.
Okay, Cledu.
12.
7.
Okay.
8.
Okay.
3.
Okay.
7.
Team rushes by without noticing too much of there to be going on. If there's anything around, it doesn't immediately disturb you, but you are not stealthy as you off on the horses. But within good time, yeah, you're having a hard time with your animal handling there. But within good time, you come to the the Luna River crossroads with a little bit of a bridge. It comes to sort of an X intersection with branches to the northwest, northeast, southwest, and southeast. The lower half of a snapped wooden signpost is thrust upward, sort of at a weird angle, near the eastern elbow of this intersection. The top half of the sign features arms pointing in 4 different directions, but is unfortunately parted and sort of lies in weeds nearby. So, and the rush of the river sort of is arcing under a little bit of arcing under a smaller stone bridge to cross the space. It doesn't seem to be the strength of the river, the Svalage, what is it, the Old Svalage River, the River Evilis, excuse me, it's the Old Svalage Road and River Evilis, but that is, it doesn't have the same rush as the River Evilis did as it hit the falls that you guys had traveled past before, but it's still some amount of force as it sort of expends and flows onward. So,
As we slow to approach the crossroads, do we notice anything out of the ordinary, or just the signpost?
you just notice the signpost.
Can we see
initially.
what the signpost says? Which
Well, it's
direction?
off. You'd have to dismount. It's lying in the weeds nearby.
Okay. Darian will dismount.
Okay. Go ahead and make a. While you're doing that, go ahead and make a perception check. We'll say Cladu and whoever else has high perception can go ahead and make a roll on that. Okay.
Come on. No.
Irina will roll.
But
Okay.
that's not.
I mean,
That's because I
okay.
put stats there.
Irina is rubbernecking around but doesn't notice anything in particular. Okay. You don't notice anything either. Normal. No -5. Just normal.
Yeah.
I rolled a 2.
Yeah, you get to the signpost, which you see, and with the 2 parts of the sign, you kind of can take them over and realign them and kind of get a sense
See
of,
where we're
of
going.
where everything would be.
Yep.
The arms indicate Kretsk and Solenka Pass to the southwest, Lake Baratok to the northwest,
Okay.
Vallaki and Ravenloft to the northeast, and Berez to the southeast. And do another round of animal handling
Well,
checks.
before you mount, do you see any tracks?
Oh, thank you. Can I
Go ahead
check
and
for
make a
tracks or
perception
anything there?
Or investigation, whichever's better.
I got nat 1, so
You do
no,
not.
no tracks.
Okay.
Your legs hurting
Good
you,
thought, yeah.
and you're distracted by it. But you're appreciating the fact that you have a horse.
Exactly.
Or animal handling.
Yeah. Go ahead and make animal
Animal
handling checks.
handling. Did better. 13.
Okay.
Do
You got a
still have
13?
minus, or-
No, this is normal animal handling roll. 10?
16.
Okay. 13. This time you guys are able to handle much better, getting more of a feel for it. You're not really able to travel at a fast pace, seeing the roots and the rock and other like muddy side land that is adjacent to the river. That isn't paved road. It isn't even it isn't even like a dirt road. So it's a little bit harder for you to be able to navigate it at a quick canter like you were before.
Is there fog now, or is it
Yes,
pretty
the
clear?
mists of Barovia are pretty ever present, particularly outside the village, outside the Vallakian walls. But you guys, nonetheless, are able to make your way to the edge of the lakeshore without too much trouble. Unfortunately, I don't have the board. It's with the water in it. I left it elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
But at the foot of the mountain, sort of nestled into this misty forest that you can see around you, a large lake is before you where the river joins it, and it sits with perfectly still, dark water. It reflects the dark sky like a vast mirror, and there's a near freezing fog that sort of wafts from its edges, rather strangely considering that you should be more or less in the heat of the day, even though it's not a very particular. It's colder than everywhere else you've been in Barovia so far. Pulled along the shore are 3 rowboats, and go ahead and make a perception check. See anything further?
I've been making a lot. Does someone else want to do it?
Everyone can go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay.
Everyone try and perceive.
And nobody
I may or may
will.
not have rolled another one.
Ah!
There you go.
Nat 20.
There you go.
Oh.
I was wondering why I just.
Well, just because I was like, nah, nobody.
I love it. Okay,
13.
13. You got a natural 20 for a total of?
21.
Nice.
An unnatural one. Rolled a 3, -2.
Okay,
6.
6. And you got a
I
natural
got
1.
in that one.
Okay, so the two of you are maybe focused on wrangling the horses who are a little more uneasy.
Exactly.
And
There.
as you get to the edges of the shore, you actually notice that they're sort of like pawing nervously away from the edge of the lake, and you feel the coldness kind of flow
Creeping
over
in.
the space, and you actually see some frost on the nearby plants coming off from that. But Jennifer, you especially notice that there is a 4th rowboat that can be seen off the shore, about 400 feet off. There appears to be a lone hooded figure of male build that you guess that sits in the boat with a fishing pole in one hand. But even as you near the lake's edge and the team sort of dismounts and gets settled with its horses, you can see a man move to lug a large sack that appears to be moving and squirming as he's holding it. The man struggles against whatever is in the sack as it resists him. Nevertheless, he lurches with the flaming sack to the edge of the boat. As he does so, you hear something rustle within the sack and a high-pitched scream rends the air. Help! Help! As the cry reaches out, the man heaves the sack into the water with an explosion of splash, and it begins to dip below the surface.
Is he within 60 feet?
He is 400 feet off the shore.
Dang it.
So we'll have everyone go ahead and roll initiative, because this is going to be kind of like a skill challenge here, and I'm going to set a little bit of a board.
Can we save a drowning child?
Perhaps not.
Props.
We can do it. We can do it.
Arabella and little Jimmy.
Okay, like I said, I don't really have my, unfortunately, don't have the tools for the water,
Your erasers.
so I'm going to use
Yeah.
other tools to
Use the same
indicate water line.
pens, but I didn't.
I didn't skull.
Do you want any little markers, Nicholas, or anything like that?
I'm just going to make do with what I've got with my
Because
Because
floorboards.
I've got Nicholas.
I'm one of those people that are like, I want
Um,
to use stickers.
yeah, if you have a bunch of
I
those.
got like
just leave them.
13 of them or something.
Okay, yeah, that'll do.
Great.
Thank you.
I love it.
But now I'll never use it because it's more commitment than sticking a sticker onto something.
Yeah, I feel like I'll put stickers up like on magnets instead of.
That's smart.
The water bottle.
Yeah, but then if the water bottle breaks, you lose the stickers.
I don't think that one's
And I think that it's actually, you know, it's Jennifer, but it's also me. I'm also chaotic speaking.
One of these days you'll get one of those like 11-foot tall skeletons. One day.
If they bring it back, I've been looking. You guys don't even know.
I remember the
Live in
story.
an apartment.
Halloween decorations start coming out July, and I'm already looking.
Okay, but think how great that skeleton would look like looming over like the door.
That's all I want.
Okay, so the doors are going to be used as rowboats.
Okay.
Way off the shore, obviously not
Not to
representing- not to scale perfectly, but you see a man in the boat, and we'll go ahead and get the initiative rolls here going. Just 1 second. I just need to pull up the right stats. It's right here. Okay, so 25 to 20. Okay, 2015.
I got a 15.
Okay, Irina got a 15 as well. So Irina will be 15B. Darian can be 15A. Okay. And then 15 to 10.
11.
11. 12. Okay, so Claudia 12. Nora 11. Okay. And
8.
okay.
6.
Jennifer. So Mary Lou got an 8, Jennifer got a 6. Okay, so this is going to be, we'll go with the top of the round here. Why I just did that way. Here we go. Okay, so top of the round, Darian and Irina are first to act. So what are you doing here as you're seeing this scene off the shore with the boat and everything? The blue dots are the water line here, and that's the effect that you've got going on. Obviously, this isn't perfectly to scale, but we're going to use it to keep it on camera. So, Darian, Irina, what are you doing? Claudiu's up next, followed by Nora. What's going on?
So I think the first thing is we got to jump in the boats. So quickly, Darian's going to go ready a boat and try and throw it in the water as quickly as possible.
Okay, so
he's
it's tied down.
So he's going to. The boats are big, or like one-person boats, or
Like
two-person
two-person.
boats? Okay. So he is going to. I assume there's going to be a strength test here if I don't. So he's going to go down and cut the moorings of the boat. How close are the boats to the shore? Are they
They're right on the shore.
halfway in the shore or something?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so he's going to cast cantrip mold earth.
Okay, so is he cutting it or is he not?
He's cutting the rope. Yeah.
Okay, so that's his action. He's not doing that and also casting a spell.
Oh, okay, got it.
So
He'll cut
the ropes
He'll
and
say,
prepare-
"Yeah, let's go, let's try and save her."
okay, and Irina's like, "There's no time for that. Let us just swim." And she's like, just jumping into the water, like, "Ugh!" And she makes like a gasp as it's cold. But she's gonna begin to start starting to swim in
Okay.
time to rescue her. She is not doing so well. She's making it pretty slow and cold water. So pretty tough for her. But it seems like that's at least she's carrying on that way. So that's it for Darian and Irina. Claudiu, what are you up to? And then Nora.
So Darian's cut the mooring on a boat, and he's presumably about in it, right?
Yeah.
So Claudia will run up behind it, start pushing it off, and hop in with Darian in it.
Okay.
So it'll be the two of us in that boat, and if possible, I'd like to start rowing.
I'm gonna say that's probably like you're getting going there, but that's sort of your turn to just do all of that because it's a fair bit of stuff to push off and get him in the boat and
Do you have Irina's model?
she's not out there. Sorry. Yeah. So she's swimming, but making not a lot of progress. Okay. That's it for Claudiu. So Nora and with Mary Lou and Jennifer, what are you guys doing? We'll just have you all. It doesn't have to be super initiative order here, but just what are you guys doing loosely? Are you joining Irina just straight in the water? Are you taking a boat? Are you holding back? What's happening?
I'm gonna hold back and stay with the horses.
Okay. Nora, what are you doing?
I'm gonna cast Bless on Irina, Darian, and Claudiu,
Okay.
and hop in a boat with them to go.
So there's not enough room for 3 people in the boat.
Okay, I'm grabbing another boat and start going.
Okay.
Heading
So
towards
I'm gonna say.
Irina.
So remember that casting blast is your action.
Oh, that's right.
So preparing a boat, I would say, and
Getting-
pushing off is also another
heading
action.
towards
So
that
you're
direction.
getting at another boat.
Mary Lou will go towards the boat Nora's in and get it ready.
Going and
Before
kind of push
you,
off.
Before
Yeah.
you do, I'll look at you like you can do it. Go get them. Go save that child. You're the best.
Just
I'll
to
give you-
prep us for this.
What's that? What are you doing?
I wanted to give you my bardic inspiration.
Okay.
I
Nice.
think it's I can't remember. I'll look it up.
D-
I think it's D6.
D6, I believe.
Bardic
for this
inspiration.
level.
Inspired.
You're the
Just-
best. You can do this.
For a DM question, how should we be treating water? Is this going to be athletics checks or things? Just
I
so
will
we can
tell you based on what you're doing, but in general, it's going to be athletics checks.
Athletics checks. Okay.
Obviously, you can't breathe underwater, so
Got it.
you can hold your breath equal to a number of minutes equal to your con modifier. So that is that. But otherwise, you are at half speed if you're swimming in the water for the most part. So go ahead, and we're back to at this stage. The sack has begun. Has begun
Thank you.
sinking. Like you guys are clearly not going to make it in time. So
Can we mark the sack so we have something?
Sure,
where we're
that
going?
works.
Okay.
Here I got something better. Other than the brown. So,
1d6 to
it's
ability. Or
well below the
attack
surface.
versus-
It's well below the surface. You can't see it anymore, and you guys get the sense that the boats, unless you do some serious rowing, are not going to be going in time. So, with that in mind, Darian and Irina and Claudiu, like that first group of the first trio, what are you guys doing?
There's one set of oars.
There's one set of oars.
One set of oars. Okay, so
I don't have any spells that would help us here.
I have a couple things. I have 2 things I can try. So
Claudia will just go ham.
go
on
oars.
heroic.
Okay, go ahead and make an athletics check. What are you doing?
I am going to. We're 400 feet away.
Basically, yes.
Okay. So I'm going to turn around towards the back, and I'm going to cast Gust into the water to try and propel the boat further.
Okay, nice. Go ahead and make a spellcasting ability check. So roll, and in your case it's wisdom. So go ahead and roll and add.
I got an 18 natural. It's going to be a 19.
19.
So with bless 25.
Nice.
Oh,
Did you
yeah,
have
I
your D4?
I didn't have my B4. We're going to do it, Claudio. Come on, you and me.
Try.
Plus 4.
Okay,
23.
So total 23. Wow. Okay. So because you guys had started on the boat, you guys were at a higher DC, but between the gust and that, you guys, like, the dwarf is just and it's like skipping along the glassy edge of the water with like little tufts of cold as it's landing. It's like and Irina's like, whoa, trying to like dodge out of the way as this boat just like speeds on past. So I'm gonna say that you guys make it. This is more than just a 6-second sort of event.
Yeah.
So Nora and Mary Lou, why don't you guys do whatever you're gonna do? Jennifer,
Okay.
you're a little far to be doing a ton. If you're just gonna stay with the horses, is there anything else you wanted to do?
I'd like to put up detect magic.
Okay.
And just because I assume this is sort of mostly happening in the same time, Mary Lou would like to rage and she would like to row.
Okay. So you're gonna rage and row. So go ahead and make an
I'm gonna
athletics
try
check.
to row.
Yeah. So
Whatever I can do to help.
go ahead and roll both of you.
Okay.
Okay, at advantage because she is raging.
Can I throw all my armor on shore?
I would say that to doff your
Takes too
armor,
much
to take
time.
off your
Never
armor
mind, we're
is a
going.
whole action.
We're not doing that.
It takes like a minute or 10 minutes.
Okay.
I think it's a minute to do.
And she's. She'll add her bardic inspiration to that.
Okay, so no longer inspired. You used it.
Athletics.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you get
that
advantage
is-
while you're raging?
Yes,
Okay.
and I used that. That is a 20 total.
20 total. What'd you get?
12.
12. Okay, so you're not the speedboat, but you're getting like about halfway. By the time that they're where they are, Irina's kind of struggling a little bit along, certainly behind both vessels. But by the time that things like settle out, you see Bluto like cast, and he's like muttering, he's like, yeah, and he kind of like casts his rod like really wildly, and the hook just like
Is he seeing
spins
us
out.
at this point, or is he
He
facing
is like
the other way?
focused right at what's in front of him.
Okay.
But your vessel has kind of gotten close enough to the point where you could dive in to try and go after.
How
it.
far away are we?
You have gotten pretty close, like within
30
10
feet, 60 feet, 10 feet?
like 10 feet.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead, Darian and Irina and Claudio. The first half. What are you guys gonna do? Nora,
need to take-
Mary Lou, Jennifer, prepare what you're gonna do in a second as well.
I mean, Claudia would dive in.
Okay. Are you wearing heavy armor?
No, we're
Okay.
medium armor.
Okay. So you dive in. Go ahead and make an athletics check. Darian, what are you doing?
I'm thinking, give me 1 second.
Okay. You see Claudio
Diving in.
dive right
I'm
in
going to
with
do
his
one of
scythe
two
strapped to
things.
him.
I'm just.
Are you leaving your scythe in the boat or strapping it to you?
If I can quickly drop it, yes.
Yeah, that's fine. So you drop it. And what are you doing? Irina's still struggling with this one.
Okay. He's going to summon his Drake
Okay.
as an action. He
Got
can
it.
summon it 30 feet anywhere within where he can see.
Uh-huh.
So he's going to summon it as far into the water as he possibly can.
Okay. You can only see about 5 feet into the depths
Okay,
of
so
the
he'll,
water.
he'll summon the
But
Drake
yeah,
in the water as
so- Sort of brandishing his ring, Darian speaks something, and
and you see
Yeah,
you
go
see sort of a vision of wings behind him, and then suddenly you see blue silver light in the water, and there's a Drake now in the water.
Joke.
okay, yeah. Oh, you have them all. Got it. Okay, go ahead and make.
And he's yelling telepathically to it, "Save the girl in the water! Swim!"
Okay, go ahead and make a and you kind of hear like Indraconic back. Like I know already. Go ahead and make an athletics check for the
For
Drake.
the Drake.
What was your result?
23.
23. Okay, so this is going to take like 3 successes. It's like a 3 successes before 3 failures kind of deal.
Got it.
So that's a success.
Goodness for bless.
Nat 20. Without a
That counts as 2 successes. So the Drake like diving, its wings sort of flapping, and they're not super fully developed wings, but they're still able to propel farther down and sort of rocketing down with Cladu as you guys are heading forward. Mary Lou and Nora, what are you guys doing? You continuing to row? You probably need one more success to get to them, or are you just diving right in to try and intercept?
Do we see that that Claudio has gone down?
Yes, you've
to
seen
rescue?
both the those swimming down.
Are we within 60 feet of the guy in the fishing boat?
Yeah, probably at this point.
Can I
You
cast
say yes.
command on him?
Okay. What is his? What's the saving throw I have to make?
You have to make. Sorry. On a wisdom saving throw.
What's
or
the
follow
DC?
command. 13.
Okay, that is a failure. What is your command? It's a one-word command.
I'm commanding him to grovel. He has to fall prone and it's.
Okay, so you hear him sort of drop his rod, and kind of drop to the bottom of the boat.
And it ends his turn.
Okay, he was just fishing, so yeah.
I didn't know what he was doing. I was like.
Okay, but you're not rowing because you're casting that. It's an
Yeah.
action.
Yeah.
So you're rowing, or are you jumping in?
How far away is Arena?
She's behind you, probably by 30 feet.
Okay, then Mary Lou will just continue to keep rowing just in case they need
Okay.
help.
By this point, your rage is probably ended.
Yeah.
So just roll straight.
Great athletics. That is a 23.
Okay, so by this point, you also connect up with roughly right where the boat is, and that's your action and the movement. Okay, so we'll pick up with you wanted to cast Detect Magic. You are getting some strong evocation and necromancy coming off the lake,
Okay.
but otherwise no additional magic. Is there anything you wanted to do?
I'm holding on to the reins of the horses.
Okay, they're pretty spooked, but make an animal handling check for me.
Oh boy.
Got one job.
19.
What was it? Sorry?
19?
19, yeah, you're able to hold them together and make it so that it's not a huge spook fest. Okay, Darian's Drake and Cladu, go ahead and make another athletics check.
And so the way the Drake voice is, it gets my proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
The last was cast on me. Does that count? Okay. So then it's a 16, I think.
Okay.
Athletics, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, 16.
Okay, yours?
23.
Okay, so between the two of you, the Drake gets there first and gets to the sack and just begins flapping with his wings as his talons and claws are holding into it, and it's working, but it's not as strong as a full dwarf, but it gives you the chance to get to it, and together you rise up towards the surface, and you guys are able to get to the surface with her as part of those turns. As you do this, once it reaches the surface, the space on the boat that is occupied by Bluto is crusted over with ice, and you see him writhe uncontrollably at the bottom of his boat, and kind of stands up and snaps to attention and just looks over toward you, and you see something slither out from underneath his robe. So this is where we get to the combat portion of initiative. So we just had Cladu and stuff happen, so he's entering the combat. So we're going to have him go ahead and he is basically going to use some of his very agile swimming capability and attack you from the boat.
Does Darian
From
get to
the
make
water.
his action? Because that was just the Drake's action.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I wanted to just try and push him off the boat into the water
Well,
with
you're
gust.
not
with
remember,
gust.
with gust. Okay, so what's that?
So it is a. I can push it away 5 feet. So while he's on the boat, I wanted
Is it
to
a
try.
saving throw?
To if he
prevent
does
it
it,
from
it is a strength saving throw.
Natural 20 for 22.
Didn't matter.
So it is able to reach on over, and it's going to attack Cladu in the water. It seems to be more agile in the water than he was on the boat. And you see it sort of a claw reach out from one side, and then an icy sort of bluish, almost luminescent tentacle reach out as well to attack. So both of those are going to attack you.
Real
So,
quick of clear. Okay.
what's that?
Point of clarification: we got the sack up.
Yes, it's at the surface.
Is she unconscious? Do we know anything? Is she still moving
The
around?
sack is tied shut,
Okay.
so you don't know.
Okay.
All right, it's a natural 20 for its unarmed strike, and then a total of a 10 for the tentacle.
No.
Okay, so that is going to be. That was a 3. That's a 3. Okay, 6, 8. So it's going to be 8 bludgeoning damage and another 8 cold damage. 16 damage total. But the tentacle sort of lashes in the lake, and you're able to sort of dodge out of the way of it. So that's it for its turn. Nora, now you're seeing this whatever monstrosity happen. You're right close by, and then Mary Lou is going to be on deck. So what are you doing, Nora?
I'm gonna do my channel divinity, turn the faithless
Okay.
on the, I'm assuming, fiend in the water.
Okay. So what types of creatures can you affect with Turn the Faithless?
It's Fae and fiends within 30 feet. They make a wisdom saving throw.
You present your symbol, and you mutter the prayer, and a little bit of silvery green light erupts from it, and erupts from your eyes as well, but it seems completely unaffected. It's not a Fae or a Fiend.
Dang. Okay.
Okay. That's it for Nora's turn. Mary Lou, what are you doing?
Okay. Not sure. Are we close enough that she could easily get into the other boat and go after Bluto?
I'll allow it, but you can make the attempt as part of your movement to jump the distance.
Okay.
Go ahead and make, since this is kind of challenging, it'll either be, I'll say it's an acrobatics check, because you're trying to balance it between one boat and the other as you're jumping, so go ahead and make an acrobatics check to see how ably you're able to land.
7.
7. Okay, so you fall short and splash into the water, and you're sort of more trying to stay afloat, and it's like extremely cold, and it just like assails you. Every pore of your body is like screaming with the cold of this lake. Unfortunately, that's probably going to take your action because of the way that fell. But good attempt. Okay, Jennifer, is there anything you want to do as you're seeing your team sort of struggle and fight?
Okay, so I can see what's happening.
You can. It's reasonably midday-ish time. It's not the middle of the night, so you're not impeded by vision restrictions as much.
Okay.
But there is like an icy fog kind of rolling off the big, almost rhythmic, like a heartbeat.
Okay.
So what are you doing? Bear in mind they are like 400 feet off the.
Yeah. So I have 50 feet of rope. I'm going to. Are there any trees that are along the shoreline?
There are some probably pretty close by.
All right. I'm going to spend my action just really securing the horses to the trees. The reins.
Nice. Yeah. Sounds good. So you use your rope and you're able to quickly tie a few hasty knots to tie all the reins together and then maybe tie the rope to the tree. So.
And then I'll use my movement to approach that boat, that last boat on shore.
Okay. So we'll just say you're at the boat there.
That's it for me.
That's it for you. Okay, top of the round, Darian with Irina on deck, Claude to follow.
Okay, so Darian is going to attempt to. Are we close enough that I could strike him?
At this point, yes, you are.
Okay, so
You're attacking from over the boat.
he's going to attack from over the boat. Both of his attacks. With this
And I would say remember, both Claude and Drake are at the moment keeping the sack
the
aloft.
sack aloft. Yeah,
So you can decide what you want to do with that.
got it. Is
but
that their
it's in
whole
arm.
action to keep it aloft? Could
Well-
they open the sack or tear it open in their action, or
well,
do they need another
Claude
person to
alone
help?
can hold it aloft without too much trouble. But so you could then use the Drake to do something.
Okay, so then Darian is going to fight the guy creature thing now.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
First one's a 15.
Hits. Go roll damage.
And hold on, the second one is more than a 15.
Okay. Damage roll.
Takes damage. Six plus 3, 9 plus 13.
13 points of damage
13
total.
points of damage.
Yeah, with a pair of swipes kind of sweeping down into the water a little bit from your high vantage point, you kind of cut into the flesh behind the shoulder, and it feels kind of rubbery as your blades kind of sink into it. But it does seem to do damage, and it kind of rears up in silent anger and pain, but continues to just sort of
To try and attack.
attack. Yeah.
And then the Drake is going to try and tear open the bag.
Okay. Yeah, it's able to do that. So it sort of rips open the bag in a sort of tearing sound, and you see the pale, dark-haired girl sort of floating. She's floating at least face up. You're at least able to orient her as you reached her to this or brought her to the surface. However, at this stage, she appears to be totally unconscious.
Got it.
So that's the action for the Drake. That's the action for Darian. So probably done for your turn.
Yep.
Irina is going to finally make it with her swimming speed, and then she's going to make an attack with her rapier. That is unfortunately going to miss, though, with a total of 13. Oh, no, that does hit, actually, sorry. So that does hit, and that's going to do 8 points of damage with her rapier. Despite her, she's kind of paddling and swimming over, and then you just see her stab into it, and you see like a dark purplish kind of oozy oil kind of come out from this creature as it's being hurt.
Gross.
Okay, but it is looking a little bit hurt. Now it is Nora's turn. Oh, sorry, Cladu, and then Nora. Sorry. Bless you.
Bless you.
So, would I be, for my action, be able to like, hop into the boat with the child?
Yeah, you can go ahead and make a. We'll say that's another athletics check to haul her up successfully.
So a total of 16.
16. Okay. Yeah, you're able to successfully haul her up onto the boat, and together you kind of the boat shifts and rocks in the water as you're able to make safe her up on that.
Right next to me by the boat.
I'm sorry?
I assume the guy's right next to me in the boat, by the boat.
He's in the water by the boat. Yes, he's right there by you.
And then for my bonus action,
Mhm.
I will cast Healing Word on the child, just in case. That'll put the time.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a d4.
That will be 6 health back.
6 health back. Okay. She wasn't totally damaged so much as has water in her lungs. So the healing, it seems to heal a few of like the visible bruises on her like neck and stuff, but she still remains unconscious via suffocation.
Best I can do with the bonus action.
Yeah, best you can do with a bonus action. So now it's its turn, and it's going to use its tentacle and arm attack to attempt to attack Darian for attacking it. But at the start of its turn, anyone who's still in the water, so it's Mary Lou and Irina, are both going to take 2 points of cold damage as it radiates cold out from it and hurts both of them. Okay, and then the combo is going to go on Darian, so tentacle, arm strike. So the tentacle is going to be a 20 to hit, and the arm strike is going to be a 11.
Darian will, as a reaction, use shield
Okay, and that brings your armor class to what?
to 21.
Okay, so as like reaching up, your Drake, silvery, ghostly
still
Drake
see
wings
the
like
wings.
flop before, and the tentacle just like slops like messily over it, and then the clumsy hand sort of reaching up on the boat, kind of grappling attempt, and sort of. So that's it for its turn. So Mary Lou, you're up with Jennifer on deck.
Did Nora go?
Nowhere needs to go.
Oh, sorry, yes. Jeez, I can't get this initiative ordered now.
You're good.
Nora, you're up. Go ahead. Mary Lou's on deck.
You don't have enough things to keep track of.
It's already, yeah, I know, it's right here on the page. But go ahead, Nora, sorry.
Is there any way that I can get in close to him?
You're a little far, and there's a lot of things going
And
on
just
there.
to clarify, does it look like he is the creature, or they're two separate things?
It looks like he is the creature.
Oh.
So your best bet is probably some kind of range attack, or you could attempt to make the jump to the boat like Mary Lou did. If you succeed, then you'd probably be able to attack.
Can I throw one of my javelins?
Yeah, go ahead and make a range attack. I'm gonna say it has.
Roll a 1.
I'm gonna say it has disadvantage because you're firing into the water. Creatures in the water at the moment, and there's a lot of friends nearby.
You can take the jump.
You can do it.
You're pretty athletic.
With my heavy armor.
Yeah.
Does the heavy armor slow a jump? Not the jump. If she fails it, then she's in trouble, right?
Yeah, the DC might be a little higher for her to jump between two
Okay.
boats because it's an acrobatics and athletics check.
Okay.
But what do you want to do?
I'm just. I'll just throw a javelin, I guess.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll with disadvantage. You got this.
Oh, she don't got
That
this.
one.
Nat
I-
one.
I
Okay,
missed
so
the
it just
javelin.
sort of and it sticks in the side of the boat that Darian and Cluedo are on.
Okay, good. We
And
didn't
kind of
lose an eye.
but you see some water starting to pool into the boat that you
You
guys
sank
are
our
on.
boat?
The one with the kid in it?
I got a boat.
So, anyway, that's it for your turn. Mary Lou, it is now your turn.
Can she attempt to climb into the boat from the water?
Yes, I would say that's your action. You could otherwise attempt to take a disadvantage attack in the water against the creature.
Sure. She would like to go into a frenzied rage.
Okay, so bursting your head out of the cold water, and then go ahead and make your attack. It's going to be a disadvantage, like I said, but
Well, she's feeling pretty reckless today.
okay. So straight roll then.
And this will be with the great axe.
Okay.
First to 2.
You guys ever
That's
done
a
a
9.
polar plunge?
Which?
Yes, I
Polar plunge?
have. 9. That does not hit.
Okay. Her second attack,
Oh, that's right. 20 gives you two.
frenzied rage. That's a 16.
16 will hit. Go and roll damage.
Yep.
Hit him with it.
Hit him with it. 12, 14 points of slashing damage.
14 points of damage. Holy cow.
She's raging. Very
Yeah,
mad.
bringing your axe in a huge arcing swap, you kind of part of the water as it like sinks down into the side of where it's got its tentacle and like buries itself, and you rip it out, and sort of the oily blood is sort of rippling through the water. It's looking hurt, but still standing.
Feel like I shouldn't have taken a bath today.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
was thinking the same thing.
All right, Jennifer, you're up. Darian on deck.
Alright, she'll lift her gown to get into the extra boat, just muttering, just, dress get all dirty. And then, like, really desperately just try to push the boat out,
Okay,
but,
go-
like, she's not going to be able to.
Go ahead and make a strength check
Nat 20.
or
nat.
athletics. excuse
Okay.
me.
Nat 20. Nat
16?
Okay. Yeah. Despite
Oh,
your
sorry, 15.
okay. Well, despite your
Fueled by anger.
yeah, fueled by your the threat of a must dress, you're able to at least do it in a clean way and push off from the shore in a daintily fashion. Okay, Darian, you're up. Irina's on deck.
How much water is coming in the boat?
Um,
Enough that I have to worry about it sinking in a round or two, or...
probably not this round, but pretty close to it.
Okay, so he's going to yell at Fudu, you handle the child, I'll worry about the sinking.
Sounds good.
And he's going to cast Ray of Frost at the opening and try and create a freeze.
Okay, cool.
To
Go
hold
ahead and
the
make
Nice.
again, do an ability check with your spellcasting. So in this case, it's from your sorcerer side, I think, right? So that would be...
It's from my innate feat that I got from the beginning.
Okay, so did you specify... So as part of Magic Initiative,
Oh yeah, it's
it
from...
should specify
it
it's
is-
the wizard, so it's like intelligence, or it's the sorcerer, so it's charisma.
it's
you still use the
from
ability-
Sorcerer.
Okay, so
Sorcerer.
charisma. Go ahead and make a roll with your charisma.
Nat 1.
Okay.
Oh wait, I get the bless. Hold on.
Yeah.
5 with the charisma 7.
Okay. Well,
Thank you, bless.
you're able to avoid blasting the child with ice, but you mostly go wide, and it sort of and it sizzles right off the top of the edge of the lake,
Okay.
without too much major effect.
Doesn't do much. Got it.
Okay.
And then the Drake is going to try and finish the creature now because
Okay,
the
so
child's
go ahead and make
got
an
there.
attack roll.
Nat 1. Oh my god.
All right.
Right, your
Unfortunately,
system.
I'm unfortunately unable to make purchase as it's sort of ducking and dodging into the water. The drake's sort of
Dice jail.
a
That
little more.
one's not doing well.
The drake's a little unable to maneuver as easily because his wings are all wet and everything. So
Okay, I got another one.
unfortunately, no big success there. But you all are noticing around that the drake seems a lot more material than the sort of ghostly version that appeared before. Okay, Irina is going to attempt to attack with disadvantage in the water with her rapier, trying to finish this. Unfortunately, 14 gets reduced to a 2 with a disadvantage, so she is not able to make purchase as she's swinging wildly and suffering from the cold effects. So that's it for her turn. But Cluedo, you're up with Nora on deck. Oh, sorry, Cluedo, then the creature, then Nora.
Okay. I would like to spend my action trying to resuscitate the child through
Okay,
CPR.
go ahead and make a medicine check.
Pushing.
And Darian will help by humming Staying Alive.
I don't know if they know that song, but I like it.
It's like the bardcore version of Staying Alive.
Not succumbing to death.
Not so. That's a typically good. Okay, so that.
So I don't think that you get blessed for checks, you get it for saving throws and attack rolls. So don't add the bless modifier, just the straight roll.
Okay, not a huge deal. Still 25.
Okay, that is plenty enough to do that, and you sort of hear a and she kind of starts spitting up a lot of the like water, but she's kind of not into a conscious way to be able to act or do anything. But you are confident that you've saved her life.
Okay. And for my bonus actions, time to summon my spiritual weapon.
Okay, you summon the spiritual weapon.
Do it, Cluedo, come on.
And
Go for
I'll try and give it a
Decapitate
slice,
this thing.
A slice
Go
of
for it.
swing.
I don't know what my model is for that, but go ahead and make an attack roll for it.
So that's a total of 14.
That hits. Go and roll damage.
Nice.
Woo!
Is that a D8? Or
Yeah, it's a D8 for spiritual weapon. And I believe you still have your modifier or something?
I do. That will be a total of 10 damage.
10 damage is enough. What do you want it to look like?
It's like gutting a fish.
Yeah, so you summon it like from underneath, and it just splits from open, and it sort of reels back, and you just hear like a very humanoid voice say, "Thirsty, thirsty," and then like the blood oozes over it, and it begins to like sink down into the bottom, almost dragged by an invisible hook that just like pulls it under the surface.
Ow.
And with that, I think that's probably where we're going to. And for tonight, it's a good place to stop a little bit before 9 o'clock. So we'll pick up next time with the rescuing of Arabelle in mid-day 2, and then seeing how that resolves with the Vistani and meeting in with Baron Vargas. So yeah, you got some combat, which is good. Nice break up to the political and role-playing. So to those of you at home, thank you very much for watching here at Dragon Poet Society. We're going to be here again, I believe, starting... very soon we're going to be switching to maybe some schedule changes up and around, so keep an eye out for that. We're on Facebook at Dragon Poet Society, and you can find us on YouTube, same thing. So have a look for those, and we'll put out some announcements here and there, and the website should be up as well, dragonpoetsociety.com. So thank you again so much, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good night.
Bye, guys. I rolled 4 nat 1s this game.
Big.